Hermitage overturned vehicle blocking the right two lanes, 40 westbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike. Accident reported by police, 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Over by Belmont, police reporting an injury crash with the off-ramp partially blocked, 65 northbound to Wedgwood. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, my name is Matt Murphy, and I'm in a mood. Come at me, bro. It's 7 minutes after 3 o'clock, and good afternoon. How y'all? How's Mama and them? For the next 4 hours, I'm going to try to maintain my composure.
What did I do?
Ken Weaver's back there in the newsroom. He always maintains his composure. He delivers the news twice an hour and when it breaks, and we love having him a part of the Matt Murphy radio program and Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good afternoon, Mr. Weaver.
How about you boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I'm interested to know what's going on, brother.
Fair to partly cloudy.
Oh, okay.
What's in your crawl?
I'm in, I don't feel good. Is what the deal is.
Oh, no,
Is
man.
what the deal is that I got the illness. I got the creeping crud. It's in my throat. It's in my head, and it's all over, and I don't like it. That's why I think I'm going to wear the jacket today to make myself look better, because just because you don't feel good doesn't mean you can look good.
Right.
You can look good,
Yes,
even if you don't feel good. That's what it's all about. Jackson, you wouldn't know anything about that. How are you?
I wear a T-shirt and shorts to work every day. You don't really hurt me with that comment.
Yeah, but your hair looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jackson. There's Jackson behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. It's difficult work today because I am all discombobulated, and that's on me, but we'll try to plow through. Look, folks, only the mediocre are at their best 100% of the time. That means that even if we are mediocre, that we're better than most.
Yes, sir.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah, let's go
like
with it.
it.
None
I
of that
like it
made
too.
sense, and it sounded like something you said while have like a fever.
It was like it's in one of my little inspirational quote of the day calendar. That was on my inspirational quote of the day.
You have one of those?
Only the mediocre are at their best 100% of the time. So if you're at your best half the time, but you're never mediocre, that means you're better than the mediocre people 75% of the time.
Sounds like Oklahoma football.
I was told there would be no
Ken,
matter.
you'll hear more about Oklahoma football in the 5:35 segment.
Wonderful.
Don't poke the Sooner this week.
I am making my nincompoop.
You know,
I'm just going to poke it, Ken.
You're playing your rival this Saturday. Next week will come. And if you are not successful taking on your rival, then maybe you'll get some of those jabs back at you there, Jackson.
Buddy, I've been a Tennessee fan my whole life. You think I'm immune to jabs?
That's true.
I went through the end of Fulmer, Dooley, Kiffin, Pruitt, Butch. Hate Butch.
I liked Butch.
I'm sure everybody who played him did.
I loved Butch. Butch, I loved all of those
Butch
people.
beat the hell out of Georgia because y'all were terrible. Let's not.
When was that?
2015 and 16.
Oh, yeah?
The best years of Butch.
Uh-huh.
8-4, baby.
Yeah.
We're back.
That was you beat Kirby.
Idiot.
Beat Kirby his first year, did you?
We did.
Yeah.
It's the only win Tennessee has over Kirby Smart.
I was about to say, I think that was the last one, too. One way or the other, this is not the sports station, so we will not talk about it.
I could
That's
yell
right.
about Butch Jones for 4 hours. Commercial free.
I might fall over and we might let you.
Brother Murphy, do you have that? Do you get that feeling like up in your nose and the back of your throat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And when you,
You know what that means, Matt? Ken gave it to you.
it's one of those deals, Ken, when you swallow, you kind of feel the swallow. You know what I mean?
That's not good.
Yeah, I know.
That is.
Ken's
not
like, yeah,
good.
I was feeling that. Then I spit in Matt's coffee pot last Tuesday.
I don't think Ken Weaver would have done that to me. Now, you, on the other hand,
I'm not sick.
I mean, you've got some great. I think it was Hand is what I'm going to blame.
Brother Chris Hand.
I think it was Hand. I mean, Hand was out last Friday. He had the creeping crud last Friday. He's better now. But you know what? When one host gets sick, we all get sick, right? Chad was feeling a little janky over the weekend and then got back right. And so now I think I'm going to pass it along to Dan Mandis.
Here's the thing, though. Dan won't get it because the bacteria on your microphone will go away by the time his show starts.
Oh, you think there's enough time there?
I think the 10-hour incubation period.
I'll lick the nozzle of the coffee pot. I bet that'll get on him. Know what I mean? Did I ever tell you the time that I was putting magnets on Dan Mandis's locker in the break room?
No.
And
was that you?
Yeah, it was me. Of course it was me.
Gosh.
Wait, I need to hear this story.
Weaver, you were a part of the morning crew back then, weren't you?
I mean, every morning.
And he was fascinated. I started with I found these magnets that we used to have on the downstairs fridge back in Birmingham. I found a box of them, and there were little it was a magnet that said you're supposed to put it on the fridge, Jackson, and it says go away. As in, hey, get away from that fridge. You don't need anything out of that fridge. You need to lose some weight. And so I put that one up, go away, and it just wrecked Mandis mentally.
Oh, no, really?
Because he thought someone was telling him to go away. And so then I started circulating magnets. And apparently I was out one week and I got somebody to do it for me. I was on vacation, which convinced him that it wasn't me doing it. And this might be the first time he's learning about it.
It was a mystery.
Oh, it was a big mystery. I put one. It's a little rabbit. He's on the commode, and the rabbit says, "I made a little sculpture of you."
Ken, what was it like when you would get here in the morning and Mandis sees the magnet?
Oh, I did one that it just said voodoo. I was trying to convince it that we were trying to put a spell on him.
Now, he was suspicious that it was you, Brother Murphy.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
But there was just no way to prove it.
Well, that's right. And I was out that week, so anyway, and so every day I go by Mandis's locker and I check his combination lock because Mandis feels like the type of guy that he would just lock it and walk away. So if you just lock it and walk away and don't spin it, then I can unlock it, right? And I'm hopeful that there will be one day where I can unlock it, and then I can get into his locker, and shenanigans will ensue.
Fill it with shaving cream?
Shaving cream, or, fill it with, find that old magazine Teen Beat and fill it with, pictures of Justin Bieber. Little Justin Bieber shots. Anyway. Dan Mandis, 5 to 9. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, we'll talk property taxes in the city of Nashville coming up primarily in the 4 o'clock hour. We welcome back to the program Metro Nashville City Councilor Courtney Johnston. Always good to speak with Courtney. We will talk with her about the impact of property tax increases and how finally people are starting to feel said same. We tried to warn y'all. And I'm not here to preach to the choir or certainly to condemn the choir to hell because y'all are, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you. We call you P1s. You're here every single day, hopefully 3 to 7 o'clock, and I thank you for that. But I tried to tell folks in Davidson County there's only one way to put a stop to this, and that is to stop it before it starts. And there simply weren't enough people to stop it before it starts. It would have taken groups of people en masse going down to the Metro Council meetings and saying no on new property taxes, but it didn't happen. And the property taxes did happen. And now we're going to see the impact from business owners to individuals that own rental properties to property owners in Davidson County. Your property taxes are going up. And oh, by the way, if you appealed, odds are your appeal was denied. As Ken Weaver's been noting to you, according to the tax assessor, Vivian Wilhoit, the 2025 reappraisal shows a 45% median increase in property tax values across Davidson County. State law requires the county to remain, quote, revenue neutral after each appraisal, but the Metro Council later voted to raise the tax. They proactively voted to raise the tax rate so they could get another pound of flesh. Of the roughly 19,000 homeowners who have filed informal appeals, 66% had no change in their evaluation. 34% were approved for a reduction or a classification change, meaning, about 2/3 of the folks that are applying or appealing the decision to raise their property taxes are being met with a firm no. In other words, your taxes are going up. Now, we've just reached the 2-year mark of the Freddie O'Connell tenure as mayor of the city of Nashville, and one asks oneself, what has he done for this city? Now, look, I've had Freddie on this show, and do I need to tell you yet again that he seems like a nice enough guy? Do I need to? Oh, he seems like a nice enough guy. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with him. My grandma seems like a nice enough lady, but she's dead. I don't want her to be the mayor of Nashville. Just because they're nice people doesn't mean that they're good leaders. Now, Freddie is set to be on this radio show in 3 weeks. November 7th, we have him slated, I think, in the 3 o'clock hour. I was talking to his guy, Alex Apple, about that just several days ago. And we will present all of this to him. Tell me what your accomplishments are as mayor of this city, besides raising taxes, because you've done that twice. Twice. Now, speaking of raising taxes, one of those tax increases had to do with public transportation and the WeGo system. And I'm now being told by several people, several different sources, that there are camera systems on the WeGo buses. Now, let me get this straight. There are camera systems on the WeGo buses so you can spy on the people that are on the WeGo system. But we can't put up LPRs? So you have no consideration for the privacy of the individuals on the WeGo buses, public transportation, but you use as your excuse for not putting up LPRs, giving the Metro Nashville Police Department the tools that they claim that they need, that they say that they need in order to catch the bad guys that are committing violent criminal acts against the population that you claim to serve. Oh, you have to consider that population's privacy rights. For the last 2 years, you've had LPRs on your desk. It's infuriating. I'm at a point now where I don't even want Mayor Freddie O'Connell, I don't even care if he makes the right decision. Just make a decision on anything. LPRs, FUSIS, Nashville Fairgrounds Speed, anything. The only thing he seems to have been able to make a decision on is that he wants more of your money. And after all, shouldn't you give him more of your money? You should be appreciative of the blessing that it is to live in Davidson County. Mayor Freddie O'Connell would be happy to tell you that the crime rates are going down. Sure. Sure, buddy. In the meantime, before we talk with Courtney Johnston about those issues, Johnston about those issues, there's a T in Johnston. On the issue of young Republicans and the Politico piece, you've probably heard a little bit about this. Politico did an expose on a group chat with a bunch of young Republicans, people that you've never heard of in your life, saying awful things, saying racist things, saying off-color things about other groups of people. Are these bad? Yeah. Is it just, should you say those things? Of course you shouldn't. What else am I supposed to do with this? Okay, you want me to denounce it? I denounce it. Do you want me to suggest that this isn't happening everywhere across America about any number of subjects not involving politics amongst the 20-something-year-old male population? Come on now. Let's not be a Pollyanna. At the same time, that doesn't mean that we should excuse it necessarily. But outside of firing people from the organization, outside of condemning it, outside of wagging your fingers, what exactly do you want me to do with this? Now, I will say this. I'm not about to be lectured by groups of people that have roundly ignored the disgusting, abhorrent, and in some cases abjectly evil commentary that young Democrats have made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I could play you. I have it on you can go find it on my X Machine page. It's almost 4 minutes of clips of young Democrat voters applauding and praising the assassination of a human being. Laughing about it, having a great time. And the mainstream media doesn't say a damn word about those people. Now, I hear you out there. Oh, Matt, you're engaging in whataboutism. That's whataboutism. You don't want to talk about the issue, so you say, what about? No, I'm talking about the issue, and the issue is the hypocrisy of the mainstream media. The issue is not whether these idiots with the young Republican Party need to have some sort of punishment meted out their way. I mean, obviously, you condemn those remarks. You say nasty, bigoted things about groups of people that you claim to want to include in your political party. Well, how the hell's that going to play for you? You obviously condemn that language. Beyond that, the only story here is how the mainstream media treats different subjects differently based on the political narrative that they're attempting to accomplish. Not one. I challenge you to find me one Democrat in the United States of America that has called on Jay Jones, the Democrat nominee for Attorney General out of Virginia, to leave the political race that he's currently in. One. I would be willing to poll the audience, and I would suggest to you that as learned as this audience is, as much as we get into the issues that the mainstream media won't, that 25% of you couldn't tell me what Jay Jones is accused of saying. We've talked about it. But no one within the mainstream media is willing to talk about it. Why? Because it does not fit the narrative that they are attempting to present. So you condemn and denounce the child murder fetish fantasies of an attorney general candidate, Democrat, Virginia, named Jay Jones, and then I'll have a conversation with you about the young Republicans. Until then, you can go to hell. How about them apples? It's 24 after the hour on Super Talk. Savory Spice has everything that you need for the fall season. I mean, it's here, right? So if you're thinking about pecan pie, pumpkin pie, some of the deliciousness that comes out of the oven in the fall, you need to get to Savory Spice to restock the cupboard with fresh spices, fall spices. I'm talking about cinnamon. I'm talking about allspice. I'm talking about pumpkin spice. I'm talking about nutmeg. Y'all know those fall flavors that come upon you. And, I think pumpkin spice gets a bad rap. I love pumpkin spice all the year long, but you're allowed to love it during the fall. And if you love it like I do, you get it from Savory Spice. That's right. Plus, they have the salted caramel sprinkle. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let me tell you something. Make you slap your producer. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's delicious. Plus, they have the maple syrup sprinkle. You heard me correctly. You can find out more about that at, I think I'm saying that correctly, at Savory Spice. Holly and David, they're great people, locally owned. Go by and see them in Franklin, just off the square. When you walk in, you'll smell the aroma, you'll smell the smells. Don't forget to tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice. You up that fall food game by upping your spice game. You up your spice game at Savory Spice. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Centers for Dr. Brian McLaughlin. I want to spend a moment talking to you about Dr. McLaughlin. He's such a good guy. He's such a good man, and he wants to help you sleep better tonight. 2 locations to serve you, one in Murfreesboro and the other in Brentwood. Dr. McLaughlin understands that if you're not sleeping well, that creates an energy level problem for the next day. But if you have sleep apnea, and that's why you're not sleeping well, that could present a different set of challenges. Health problems can result from not sleeping at night through sleep apnea. Your breathing stops in the course of the night. I was right there in your place. I was not breathing throughout the course of the night. I had sleep apnea. Now, thank you to Dr. Brian McLaughlin and the rest of the team. My sleep apnea is gone. I sleep so well. Thank you to the FDA-approved oral device. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to wear a hose. It's a device that you don't notice after a night or two. It goes in your mouth, and it gently holds the jaw forward. It's incredible. You sleep better because you breathe better. You breathe throughout the evening. And best part, it's in network with most insurance companies in the state of Tennessee. So if you've already met that deductible, here's an opportunity for you. Call Dr. McLaughlin today. TennesseeSleep.com is the way to start that journey. TennesseeSleep.com for the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center.
Two-thirds of Nashville homeowners who appealed their new property values got bad news. We'll tell you about it at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Jackson, I guess this is in relation to the football conversation we were having earlier.
Football.
Someone wants me to tell you that we are building this radio show brick by brick.
Don't get me started on Butch.
What does that mean, Jackson?
It means that don't get me started on Butch or brick by brick.
No, I feel like we are. We're building this radio show. I mean, right, Ken? We're building it brick by brick, baby.
Well, there won't be any woodpeckers.
Not with all those bricks around. What is that? I guess that was his motto?
It was a commercial Butch Jones did for an insurance company in Tennessee. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, they didn't know he was a sucky coach. Come on.
Okay, so they never watched Tennessee football from 2014 through 2017?
All I'm saying is they probably hooked up with him thinking he was going to be a fine coach. The next Philip Fulmer.
Football.
Yeah?
I value my job, so I'm not going to talk about Butch Jones.
Are you sassy this week because it's hate week?
He's doing pretty good over there at Arkansas
I hate
State.
Butch Jones.
He is doing pretty good at Arkansas State.
They got blown out like 2 nights ago.
I don't know.
Oh, well, he was.
I was just agreeing with Ken because I like Ken.
They got beat 80-0 a couple of years ago, and he cried on the sideline.
What did you do, Jackson?
Laughed maniacally.
80-0?
Ken, it was Oklahoma.
Jackson took off all his clothes and ran around in the backyard swinging his shirt above his head. Woo!
Well, I sure do wish we could beat people 80-0.
It was the Sooners, Ken.
Those days are long gone.
Oh, man. I don't know that Georgia's scored 80 points the entire year. Well, I guess we did score 44 against. Never mind. Anyway, Super Talk 99.7 WT, and it's time for the news on Super Talk.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Fox 17 says 2/3 of homeowners who appealed their new property values were denied. The 2025 reappraisal saw a 45% jump in median values across the county. While over 19,000 residents filed informal appeals, only a third were successful. The Metro Council also raised the tax rate, meaning many homeowners are now facing higher bills, even as thousands of formal appeals are still pending. A federal judge blocking the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers during the shutdown. Judge Susan Ilston in the Northern District of California issued an emergency order today. It stops cuts to over 4,000 jobs across 8 agencies. She called the move reckless and warned of serious human costs. The shutdown's now in its 3rd week with no resolution in sight. Supreme Court justices hearing a case related to congressional maps in Louisiana, but it could have major implications on voting rights across the country. Here's ABC's Perry Russell.
This case is out of Louisiana and centers around the drawing of a congressional map that creates 2 new districts with a majority of black voters to alleviate possible violations of the Voting Rights Act after a different map was drawn. So then a group of white voters in Louisiana got together and sued, saying that it violated equal protection.
Yeah, reporters say a majority of justices think Louisiana needs to go back to the drawing board because they used race to come up with that second Democratic district. No Kings protests coming to Nashville and Middle Tennessee this Saturday. More than 30 rallies planned statewide, with the biggest set for 10 o'clock in the morning at the state capitol here in Nashville. Organizers say the movement opposes authoritarian policies they say are coming from the Trump administration. And the new car that cost $30,000 in 2020 will now set you back an average of $37,000. New vehicle prices have never been as high as they are right now. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Clarksville, a crash is blocking the left lane, 24 eastbound near Rossview Road. In Madison, got a crash, Gallatin Pike north at Anderson Lane. Hermitage, TDOT says there's a crash 40 westbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike and in Rivergate. Police reporting a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, exit 95. South Nashville got a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Over by Belmont, injury crash. Off-ramp partially blocked. 65 northbound to Wedgwood Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work when it comes to intimacy with their romantic partners over the years. Sadly, this is the case where they go online. These things have nasty side effects. There are better treatments, men. Sometimes it's a combination of treatments that finally unlock the results that you've been missing. But what you need is a private consultation with a urologist right here in Middle Tennessee from the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Do not trust online pills when you can trust the best, and it only costs $99 for your initial appointment, which includes a full medical consultation, examination, blood work, and if medically advised, they will get you your initial treatment right there during your first consultation in the office. Gentlemen, it's time to get this behind us. It's time to get back into the game. You can enjoy a positive sexual health experience with Tennessee Men's Clinic with your intimate other, your partner. Let's get with the Tennessee Men's Clinic by going online to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com or giving a call, 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, and you until 7 o'clock. Jackson Williams behind the glass, behind the secondary pane of glass. There's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you're always invited. 615-737-9986. You can also hit us up on the Super Text line. We're on a variety of platforms I failed to mention early on in the show. I was rant pants from the beginning. But we're on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart. You can find us on a variety of podcast platforms. Really, any place where you stream music, information, news, you can stream this radio show and this radio station. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN and off you go. If we're not there, tell us where you are and we'll get there. Secondarily, we're obviously on the radio dial, 99.7 FM from Kentucky to Alabama and all points in between. And then Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, which I would recommend because of the YouTube chat. Crazy people over there. Do you look at that YouTube chat ever?
Occasionally.
Craziness.
Peruse.
There's a lot of craziness going on over there. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just a mess. And I wallow in it on occasion. But you can go over there on YouTube. And when you're over there, do me a favor, like and subscribe and do those things. You know, I haven't asked Ken Weaver what the rates are lately. Ken, what does it cost to like and subscribe on the Talk TV side?
Absolutely nothing, yes.
Nothing. The man said nothing. And he said it in that great accent. So that's for something. Someone asked Ray, I guess it was, wanted to know, Matt, good afternoon. Have there been any updates on the Nashville tunnel? Are they drilling? Is there stuff going on? I haven't heard anything in a long time. Just curious. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is a little bit of an update. The boring company, they obviously did their drill. They have a hole over there next to the Capitol where they're doing some exploratory drilling. And they have all other holes where there are exploratory drilling efforts going on. In early October, the company began geotechnical exploratory borings, as they call it, in downtown Nash and near Vanderbilt University. According to the company, drilling took place at 1st and Broadway and 4th and Broadway near the historic Riverfront Park and Tootsie's in the heart of the famous Honky Tonk Highway. Exploratory drilling also went down near Vanderbilt beginning on October 10th, with geotechnical exploration happening near the beautiful Vanderbilt University. The loop is obviously privately funded, connecting downtown and the convention center to BNA Airport. It is affectionately on the Chris Hand Show known as the BNA hole. I love it too much. I don't want to, as they say, cast aspersions on the project. So, we'll stick. What were we calling it? We weren't calling it the Music City Loop.
The Tesla Tunnel?
I think we were calling it the Tesla Tunnel. I can't remember. I mean, B&A hole's fine with me. I don't care. One way or the other, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the possibilities. And oh, by the way, I'm excited about this. I love how many liberals who claim that they want to take cars off the roadways, these emission-belching internal combustion engine automobiles, they want to see fewer of those on the roadways, right? We're told that repeatedly. And now a private company is bringing that to the city of Nashville, and they're against it. Does that make any sense? Any sense at all? So we've been told by the political left that emissions coming out of our automobiles and coming out of our cows' rear ends and coming out of our rear ends and coming out of our homes as we heat them and whatnot, that it's going to be the death of all of us. They have explained to us for my entire adult lifetime how the earth is going to be heated, superheated so much because of all of this carbon in the atmosphere, et cetera, that the greenhouse effect will take over and we're going to see temperature ranges spike and eventually global climate crisis will consume us all. That is what we're being told and have been told that forever, at least in my adult lifetime. And it's simply not happening in the fashion that they promised it would. And when you promise doomsday and doomsday never comes, at some point people are like, you know what? I don't think you know what the hell you're talking about. I'm just going to go about my daily life. If I didn't know any better, I would think that after the fall of the Soviet Union, you communists had to take up another cause, and this is a way for you to attack capitalism. If I didn't know any better, I would think that. But of course, that's not what you're doing, right? But these same people that have attempted to convince us for these many years that the only way to save the humans will be to stop the internal combustion engine, stop the use of fossil fuels, stop the use of gas and oil. Well, here comes a solution that does those things. Now, forget the fact that you have to charge your electric vehicle from a charging station that gets its power from where? Gas and oil and fossil fuels. But be that as it may, I mean, none of their logic makes sense, but let's work through liberal logic for a moment. So you've been telling us that we must do what is necessary to get automobiles off the roads to save the planet and to alleviate congestion. And here comes along a private sector solution that is costing no one no money. I mean, no one any money, I should say. No one no money would be a double negative. It's costing you no money. It's costing me no money. The Boring Company is putting up the cash for this project. Now, that's one of the reasons. There are a number of reasons why the liberals hate it. The first reason is that it's not a government project. It's not coming out of your wallet. Liberals hate the free market. Hate it. They hate the idea of a meritocracy. They hate the concept of you using the wisdom that you've acquired over the years and the sense that God gave you and your hands and your toil and your sweat and your hard work to build something and to achieve something. They hate the idea of you seeing the success from your labor. They hate it. They hate it. They want not equality, they want equity. Regardless of input, they want equality of outcome, which is equity, which is socialism, which is communism. So when they see a free market solution step in where they want government to force some of these things to happen, they hate it automatically. Now, you add to the fact that it is Elon Musk's company, and Elon Musk had the audacity to support Donald Trump in the last election cycle and to support the idea of, spending less money through the federal government, money that we don't already have, and recognizing that if we continue to add to the national debt, that it will be the damnation of this nation. So you add that to the fact, and suddenly the political leftists hate this idea. The people like Representative Afton Bain, who's been on this show on a number of different occasions, has publicly declared that over her dead body will this tunnel happen. Well, let's see what happens with that, because it looks like the tunnel is, in fact, going to happen. It's already happening, as a matter of fact. Now, will it be a success? I don't know. I don't know. But what I know is that you do not try incredible things without people telling you that it will not be possible. And you do not achieve incredible things without taking certain levels of risk. The state of Tennessee, the city of Nashville, and other organizational structures are there to make sure that we mitigate that risk as best as possible to ensure the health and safety of those working on the projects and to ensure the health and safety of the residents of this state. In other words, we're not going to allow them to do something mentally insane for the purposes of trying to complete the project, putting individuals at risk on the roadways, i.e. tunnel collapse. At the same time, there's no monetary risk here. If this thing happens to go belly up before we see one single electric vehicle in one single tunnel, it is no skin off my nose nor yours, then why are you so against it? Have you asked yourself that? If you're against the tunnel, are you just against it because it's Elon Musk? Are you just against it because it's not your precious light rail? Oh, my Matt, we need light rail. That's what we need in this city. And people will swarm to light rail. And they'll get on in Murfreesboro and Jolton and Ashland City and Mount Juliet, and they'll just ride that light. No, they won't. Light rail doesn't work in the South. It's a boondoggle. Waste of cash. Anyway, at last check, the company was working to develop engineered plans in order to construct the tunnels. The company said it will have to obtain 45 different permits and approvals to start the construction of the tunnels themselves. At the time, the exploring is continuing. They're making sure that they fully understand what they're dealing with in terms of the limestone that they will necessarily have to bore through. The loop, as mentioned, privately funded, connecting downtown to BNA Airport. And I'm here for the ride. Joel is next up. Hey, Joel, how are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
I'm great, Joel. Thank you for calling.
Oh, you bet. Hey, just some quick thoughts. In terms of the drilling between what they've done out in Las Vegas and what they've done here. We've definitely got some different geology here, and I'm not a geologist. Full disclosure, but I do have some concerns. We have water tables, here in Middle Tennessee, and that's not something that they've had to interact with out west, and to my knowledge. And if we poison the water table, we may encounter some issues. And I like the idea. I don't like that we can't take personal Teslas and use the tunnel. It will be privately operated at the end of the day. But the water tables are really what comes to my mind as being a risk that needs to be closely assessed.
To make sure that runoff doesn't
clean drinking water at the
right. The drilling. What runoff are you? I'm trying to figure out what runoff we're concerned about. From construction.
Exactly, and there have been some fees that have been encountered along the way out west in that project.
Yeah, I know they had to pay a fine or something or another because of out in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was a fine that was paid by the time. Yeah, because it just and here's how I would respond to it. And I appreciate the concerns. Obviously we all should be asking these questions. Who is there to ensure the health and safety of the citizens? It's obviously the stated goal of the boring company to complete this tunnel and to get Teslas operating on the tunnel. So who is there to make sure that the boring company does not cut corners in such a way that might endanger the general population in a fashion like Joel is talking about? That is a fair commentary. And I would expect that state and local officials are permitting these individuals that are running the boring company in such a way where they have complete and total oversight over the aspects of the project that might endanger the general public. Obviously, that oversight has to exist at the state and local level.
Yes, sir.
And so, and what I can do is try to get those people on air with us to talk about what aspects of that oversight that they can share with us to ensure to the general public that we're not being put in any danger,
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I'll do so. Joel, I appreciate the call. Obviously, we don't want to do anything to disturb the property that would ultimately lead to a disruption of our water supplies. And that is a consideration. 53 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Speaking of local issues, Courtney Johnston will be with us in the second hour of the program. She is obviously a city councilor for the Metro Nashville Council. She'll talk about property taxes. Plus, we might have an update on the tunnel. Plus, we might have an update on many other things. You never know when Courtney steps up to the microphone on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Alpha and Omega. Let's talk about Michael and his team because they're not new to the computer services industry. They've been around since 1998, providing 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week protection from any and all evolving threats, compliance for all businesses and all industry, business continuity, and a fast local help desk. When I say help of a local nature, I mean right here in the state of Tennessee. You will not call and find someone in some faraway land answering your calls. Their help desk is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Emergency services are always available, but rarely needed because they handle their business on the front end so that you don't have emergencies on the back end. They will take complete ownership in helping with all of your IT issues, whether it's printers, the internet, your internal computer system, your internal computer emails, whatever it might be, you name it, they service it directly if it's IT related. Friends, you need, if you're a business owner, to make the call that so many others have made to Alpha and Omega. Allow them to take your next IT contract and take you to the next level by solving all of those issues for you so you can focus on what? Your business. 615-784-0096. 615-784-0096 or a&o.net. Once again, a&o.net. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Advanced Hair. If you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that actually works, you want the best, and I'm here to tell you Advanced Hair is just that. Modern technology with top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Advanced Hair Restoration. They've completely redefined hair restoration from the experience itself to their unmatched results. If you have a receding hairline, a bald spot, or thinning hair, address them all with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment in a calm and relaxed environment with the most experienced professionals. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of these breakthrough treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one in Nashville can offer anything like the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair, and I highly recommend their team. It starts with your free consultation. Call 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR. You can qualify to get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. So go to advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, thousands of homeowners feeling the sting after appealing their property reappraisals only to be turned down. Fox 17 says out of more than 19,000 informal appeals filed this year, 2/3 were denied. That's after property values in Davidson County jumped a staggering 45%, and then Metro Council raised the tax rate. More than 14,000 formal appeals still in the pipeline. The ninth vote in the Senate has failed to end the government shutdown, now in day 15, and a federal judge is blocking the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers.
The judge issuing an emergency order after federal agencies began laying off workers to reduce the size of the government during the shutdown. Layoff notices have been part of the Trump administration's efforts to put pressure on Democrats to come to a deal to end the shutdown. The judge saying the administration is acting without thinking it through and, quote, it's very much ready, fire, aim, end quote. And she added it has a human cost and cannot be tolerated. Labor unions had asked the court to block the layoffs, saying they were an abuse of power by the president designed to punish workers and to pressure Congress. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Judge Susan Ilston in the Northern District of California. By the way, there's another way President Trump's pressuring Democrats. Trump threatening to use the government shutdown to cut what he calls Democrat programs and execute mass firings across the federal government. Those Democrat programs, he says, he's going to release a list on Friday. Supreme Court justices weighing arguments they heard in a case today related to congressional maps in Louisiana, but it could have major implications across the country. This case centers around congressional maps drawn in 2022 in Louisiana that created 2 Democratic majority districts. Here's ABC's Devin Dwyer.
There are a majority of justices that think Louisiana needs to go back to the drawing board, that second majority black district, by the way, both of those districts are occupied by Democrats, so there's some political ramifications there, but that they may need to go back and draw again because race was predominant in how they drew that map. How the court shakes out, what sorts of limits they put around Section 2, I think that's a little bit less clear.
Money news at $50,000. Not only is the average price of a new car at an all-time high, says the Kelley Blue Book car buying guide, but costs of car loans are zooming too, says Chuck Sievertson.
According to credit agency Experian, last year the average length of a new car loan was 68 months, nearly 6 years. As credit scores worsen, average terms lengthen. The longer the loan, the higher the overall payback price is because you're paying on the original value, which plummets. Carfax says the value of a new vehicle drops by about 20% in the first year, 15% a year each of the 4 years after. Experian says the average monthly car payment is $749.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glen Cliff, a crash blocking the left lane, 24 eastbound after Briley Parkway. In Clarksville, still got a crash 24 eastbound near Rossview Road. Rivergate, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Then over by Belmont, injury crash. Looks like they have just cleared that up, so never you mind. And over by the airport, a crash, Donaldson Pike at Terminal Drive. Then on the East Bank downtown, got a crash not on I-24, but at Spring Street near 24. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, here we go. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 7 minutes after 4 o'clock. Thank you for being out there. It's hour number 2. We're back to our normal Wednesdays where in the 5 o'clock hour, we are joined by our good friend of the show, Cameron Smith. He writes for the Tennessee. And we recorded, first time in a minute, we recorded another podcast, All the Best Words. And is that dropping later on tonight, Jackson? No. What do you mean, no? Why are you looking at me that way?
Mason has to edit it.
I thought you did that.
No.
No. You're too good for that?
No, Mason is much better at that.
Yeah, but you're learning. I have faith in you. No? Yes? Should I not have faith in you?
Not in this.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. One way or the other. Yeah, thank you for disabusing me of that notion. That's an old Wilson term. You disabused me of the notion that you were capable. I appreciate you.
I'm capable of lots of things.
That's not one of them?
No.
But you're learning.
Yes.
You're getting it together. There's Jackson Williams. He's behind the glass. Ken Weaver's behind him. He delivers news headlines. And my name is Matt Murphy. We host a little gathering called the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I appreciate you. This is our Wednesday edition. It's the middle of the month. For those of you paid today, congratulations. I hope you got paid. If you work for the government, some of you are not getting paid, it's my understanding. And it's episode 903 of our gatherings together. We're going to focus this hour on issues in and around Davidson County and local to the metro area as we welcome a good friend of the show back into our studios. She is Courtney Johnston. She is, by the way, our good friend Norm told me to stop calling you a counselor. You are a council member, and I apologize, Norm, if I offended your delicate sensibilities by misusing the term. You are a council member on the Metro Nashville City Council. She is Courtney Johnston, and she's in studio. Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm a little under the weather, but whatever.
Well, you made up for it with your choice of attire today. You're looking sharp.
I'm wearing my jacket.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? You can wear anything you want. You put on a jacket and you look better.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Tell my husband that.
I will. I will. Whenever you bring him in, you never bring him in.
I know.
Never get him in here. And speaking of, I'm glad you brought up your husband because I don't want this to come off the wrong way. But John in Lawrenceburg, loyal listener to the Matt Murphy Radio Show, when I said that I was having you in, he said, Matt, you call Afton Bain the cutest little communist in Tennessee. What do you call Courtney Johnston?
Yikes. What do you call me?
And I said, what, cutest conservative on the council? That's
Let's
fair.
just say reasonable. I'm not trying to get killed around here.
Yeah, well, no, that's right. I can't call you a conservative because you're going to be the next mayor of the city, and so we don't want to do that.
Just putting it in the universe, aren't you?
Well, tell me over the last 2 years what you feel like the mayor and the city council has accomplished. I mean, there's got to be some good things.
Oh, good things. See, now you've narrowed it.
Uh-huh.
Now you've done it.
I mean, we'll talk about those property tax increases and those other tax increases in just a moment. I mean, the several news agencies did pieces on the mayor's halfway point in his term. And for the life of me, he wants to say crime's down. I suppose that the reporting indicates that crime is down, but that doesn't feel the case when I talk to people in the city.
I think the more and more you say that crime is down, and I know MNPD puts those stats out. I don't know how they come up with those stats. I think it's starting to really make people mad because nobody feels safe here. So when it's like gaslighting, I don't understand why we're continuing to pat ourselves on the back whenever every single time we pull up social media or pull up the news, somebody has been stabbed, shot, raped, drowned in the river, whatever. I mean, it's something bad constantly. And I understand that we can see things more because of social media, and so things are more visible. But at the same time, telling people that it's safer when they don't feel safer is obnoxious.
I agree.
Yeah.
And using that as a point of emphasis when you're asked what good things you've done.
Well, and especially for the mayor to sort of try to take credit for that whenever he's never really supported the police department by giving them any of the tools that they need. So it's like, really, we're going to say, yeah, thanks a lot, Freddie. Give me a break. Thanks a lot, MNPD, to the extent that the crime reduction is true. But, I mean, Freddie didn't do anything.
So what can we point to?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a huge frustration of mine because I feel like I know that there's been major projects that have needed and could have been pushed forward that have been on hold for Choose How You Move, which was a tax increase. Everything has just been on hold. Then when it was like, okay, now that Choose How You Move has been on hold, now we're going to raise your property taxes by 27%. So everything's going to be on hold till then. The East Bank has been stifled. I mean, we should have broken ground on that a year ago. Nothing has happened. We've had to have people from the general public come in to help just the TPAC aspect of it. So for Freddie to try to take credit for that, I know who was behind that. And it was not anybody from his administration. I can guarantee you that. And so just the fairgrounds, everything, you name it, nothing has moved forward. The only thing that's been accomplished is sales tax has gone up and now your property taxes have gone up. And so you'll be getting those, if you haven't already, in the mail. Don't blame the postman, the messenger, but it's going to be some sticker shock, and it has been. I've already gotten phone calls and people saying, "Wait a minute, I didn't vote for this." It's like, well,
and I don't want to play a game of I told you so. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Pamela Furr, and I think she's going to call in with her story because, I mean, Pamela has a story that I think a lot of people in Davidson County can relate to. She's leaving the county. Yeah. She's selling she just put her house on the market and she's selling her house. And one of the primary reasons, she does not feel necessarily safe in Davidson County anymore in her area. And secondarily, the property tax increases are just not worth it anymore. And she wants to sell her property while she still thinks she can get some value out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that story over and over and over again around Davidson County. And I'm wondering, and it's not just property owners. That's one thing. And Freddie and his ilk can dismiss those people. I mean, although when they do, they're dismissing people on fixed incomes. They're dismissing grandmas that have been here for the last 40, 45 years that are suffering as a result of these increases. But business owners, you and I were talking right before the break. There was a piece on Fox 17 about the owner of Peg Leg Porker, who his property taxes have gone up like 800% in 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane, and I would say that the vast majority of that has happened in the last 5 years, which is, insane as well. When you look at, our businesses, people say, well, who cares about businesses? They care about what's coming out of their pocket. Yeah, but who's employing you? Downtown, people love to sort of bash on downtown, and I get it to a certain extent. However, the sales tax revenue that we receive from downtown is substantial, and it's also the engine that sort of keeps this city going because the money's got to come from somewhere. And so if you beat the hell out of those businesses with taxes and fees and regulations and all the stuff, if you make it not easy to do business down there, they're going to leave. And when that happens, we are all in trouble. And when I say all, I mean the entire state.
I don't know how to do this, but I've long proposed because I read from the Fox 17 article and they say homeowners tell Fox 17 News they don't mind paying their fair share, but many say their homes would never sell for what the county claims the value of the property is. And I've long wanted to create some sort of system by which if the county sends me a tax assessment and they assess my property for X, then and I know that it sure as hell wouldn't sell for X, then make them obligated to actually sell it for that amount of money or buy it for that amount of money. And you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they're over appraising the value of these properties just for the purpose of getting the money on the back end when they know very well that I couldn't sell it for that amount of money.
Well, and it's also really important. A lot of people blame this on the appraisal. So the state protects us from us in large part from appraisals being what drives our cost of property tax. So the liability of it, and it's called the equalization rate. And so they put into place a law that says when appraisals go up, when the value of property goes up, the city cannot benefit from that. So the equalization rate comes down in order to make that a net neutral. So now, and there's not to get too far into the weeds, because if your property went up more than the average, then you'll still be affected by it. But in large part, most of that is mitigated by the equalization rate. What really nails you is when we raise the rate. And
Right.
That's what happened this year as well.
So when you get your reassessment, the city is required to adjust so that you don't get popped with additional bills.
It happens automatically. Yep.
But what the city does is they come in behind that reassessment and they raise the rate
Right.
so that they can get more money.
Yes. And so the average went up 30-40%. And so that rate came down, that equalization rate came down a lot. But then we raised it back up. But I think it was less than what it was before the actual rate. But that was because of the equalization rate. So people say, oh, we lowered your rate. Good grief. It's just
they're playing fuzzy math, but when you get the bill and
that's what's happening now. Is people are getting the bill.
And we were trying to, and I'm not trying to preach to the choir, but we were trying to send this message to the people while it was happening. And what we heard from the Freddie O'Connells of the world is, oh, your rate's going down. Your rate's going down. But the final price tag is not going down. It's going up considerably for most Nashvillians, for most Davidson County residents. And now they're seeing the bills come home, and they're shocked by it.
Yes. So what I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Amen.
Or at least vote at all. I mean, our voter turnout in these local elections, the people on the first and second floor of the historic courthouse in Davidson County affect your life a trillion times more than anybody in the White House or at the Capitol.
I mean, we certainly can say that. I don't know that Memphis can say that right now, but we can certainly say that as we sit here today. It's 4:20. We'll take a short time out, be back in a moment. We'll hear from Pamela and continue to talk with Courtney Johnston about what we can do about property taxes and other matters in Davidson County. If you have any questions, 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Go to painisbad.com and you'll see the friendly folks of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I'm talking about Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team. They're good people, local to our community, and we absolutely love them. They understand that if you hurt, well, not a lot else matters, right? If you're hurting in your back, in your knees, in your hips, in your elbows, in your joints, wherever it might be, you need to know that there are solutions available that don't involve surgery, that don't involve spinal injections, and don't involve the constant popping of pills. In a natural way, they can alleviate that pain through their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression. They also have knee decompression, elongating the disc, taking pressure off the nerve. They have anti-gravity machines, robot lasers, and other high-tech stuff that can help you today get that pain off of your body, get that pain off of your plate and out of your life. That's what it's all about, folks. Painisbad.com. That's why he named his website that. Go online and find out more, or give them a call and schedule an appointment today. Ask about the Big Daddy Trump special, $12 for your initial examination and treatment. 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Thousands of Nashville homeowners not happy. We'll tell you about it at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, talking with our good friend Courtney Johnston about $18 beers on Broadway. I mean, that's what I expect, right? They're already $12. So you raise the property
tax. 14. I heard they were 14. I don't know. I don't go down there, to be honest with you.
No, I don't go down a lot unless somebody's in town. But I know that when I drive around the Loop, when they're advertising on the billboards, hey, $6 beers, I'm like, something's wrong with the world, right? That's like a bargain. The $6 beers are a bargain.
I know.
But you know what? It all, as they say, rolls downhill, and that's the point. That when you increase property taxes, and we're hearing from some, and I understand that these are business owners that own expensive properties, but they have to recoup their money. They have to pay their loans. And when their property taxes are going from $500,000 to $1 million annually, well, y'all think they're just going to eat that cost? Of course they're not.
Well, and at some point you reach a level, how much is too much for a Bud Light?
Right.
There's only so much that people, at some point, there's other places that people can go for a vacation where they don't have to spend, $1,000 on light beer. There's just other places they can go. And the Woo girls, bless them.
Woo!
Yeah, it's annoying, but we need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
their money spends.
Right. And so this younger crowd, they can't afford that stuff. So it's a problem that I see as to your point of this trickle down that's going to have much more devastating effects than, a couple of businesses go belly up, because it's not. It's going to be a lot of them that go belly up. And when that entire industry of tourism is affected, we're all affected. I don't care how far away you live from downtown Nashville. You can live out in Pegram. Everybody will be affected by it.
Speaking of people that have been affected, our good friend Pamela Furr joins us on the Murphy Show hotline. We affectionately refer to her as the redheaded stranger because I don't see her nearly as much as I would like to. First and foremost, Pamela, I have one unrelated question before we get to the subject at hand, and that's property taxes. Are you ready for my question?
Yes.
Who are you rooting for this weekend?
Roll Tide.
Well, good. I'm
Roll
glad.
Tide, baby.
I'm glad you're still on the bandwagon, despite the fact that your beloved Nick Saban is gone.
It hurts my heart that he's gone, but I got to remain faithful. I mean, I prayed about it. I did. I was looking for a team, and I'm like, I gotta stick with Alabama, and then they started to win. The moment I made that decision. They started to win games. I have to tell you this real quick.
First taking credit for the wins. Did you hear that?
I did.
I heard it.
It was not lost on me.
Uh-huh.
I was in Knoxville this weekend, right? Our team with the company I work for was in Knoxville doing some tailgating at the Tennessee game. And I'm at the hotel. I'm drinking my coffee early in the morning, and all these Tennessee fans are down there. And, of course, they say to me, it's game day, it's game day. And what do I say? Not even thinking, Roll Tide. And I thought they were going to kill me. I thought I was going to be slaughtered right there in the lobby.
That's, we take our football seriously, as you well know. I was kind of relating, and I didn't want to get too much into your personal story because it's your personal story, but you are a great example of how these property taxes and these increases, I mean, you were a part of the group that was trying to wave the flag and send the message out to people that this was going to happen, and now it's happening, and you're moving.
I'm moving, and there's some frustration on lots of levels here, Matt. First of all, I moved here in the early 90s, right? So I have been a Nashvilleian for a very long time. I did live some time in Hendersonville, but for the most part, I have spent my life in Davidson County. I am a Nashville girl, and I had Nashville dreams, and I have made the decision that I can't continue, A, to pay the property taxes, B, to pay the property taxes to a city that will not listen to me. They don't care what I have to say. They don't care about the constituency that is a Republican or someone who has concerns about how they're spending their money, or how they're spending my money. And so it was time to make the decision. And so my house is now up for sale, and I'm getting out of Dodge. I have an offer down on another house in another county, and it's time for me to go. And I knew that if the property tax was going to go up as much as they were saying, I knew I would have to go. But what's even more frustrating for me, and I heard even Courtney mention this too, and by the way, I love Courtney. So anyway, she mentioned this a few minutes ago. She mentioned voters actually getting out and voting. Well, when we sounded the alarm, and I say we, I mean the Nashville Tea Party, GOP Nashville, and AFP Tennessee. We sounded the alarm. This is going to happen if you do not get involved. And we had little meetings, at rooftop bars, and we even had a protest at the State of the City address. And a lot of people showed up, and that was great. And then they disappeared. Where did they go when we actually needed to make a difference, when we needed to talk to the business owners, when we needed to talk to property owners to make sure they knew that this was about to happen so that they could show up at city council meetings and talk to city council members in droves? No one showed up. I mean, we had 5 people at one city council meeting. And there were other groups that showed up for other reasons, but there were 20, 30, 40 people that would show up in their T-shirts and whatnot. We had 5 people.
Hey, hold your
that's discouraging.
Hold your thought here for a moment, Pamela. I'm going to leave Pamela on hold because I want Courtney to respond to that. What does the city council think when people actually show up at a council meeting en masse and respectfully lodge their complaints? Can that potentially make a difference? Maybe not in this case. I don't know. We'll find out together next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Thousands of Nashville homeowners not happy. They were turned down after appealing their property reappraisals. Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. 2/3 of those appeals denied, leaving many residents with higher tax bills. The Metro Council also raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure. And while more than 14,000 formal appeals are still in the pipeline, homeowners are being asked to pay up now. Critics say the new values don't reflect the current market and that the city's services haven't kept pace with the rising costs. And the 9th vote in the Senate failed today to end the government shutdown. We're now in day 15. A federal judge in San Francisco says the Trump administration has to stop firing government workers during the shutdown. Layoff notices have been part of the Trump administration's effort to put pressure on Democrats to come to a deal to end the shutdown. And that's not all, says ABC's Rachel Scott.
As the government shutdown enters day 15, President Trump now says he will reveal a list Friday of, quote, Democrat programs that he will shut down permanently.
We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So we are closing up Democrat programs.
With federal workers going unpaid, President Trump welcoming his close political ally, Argentina's President Javier Milei, to the White House to announce a $20 billion bailout for his country.
Back here in Tennessee, a new synthetic opioid called nitazene's up to 20 times stronger than fentanyl showing up on Tennessee streets. Officials say it's often mixed into other drugs without users knowing, leading to deadly overdoses. At least 93 deaths have been linked to nitazene statewide. Experts warn it may take multiple doses of Narcan to reverse its effects. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Injury crash in West Nashville. Now, this is Charlotte Pike right next to I-40. Rivergate, a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans. And in Glencliff, TDOT still showing a crash blocking the left lane 24 eastbound after Briley Parkway South. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister are the owners of U.S. Pest. I love these guys. They love their employees. They're like family to them. As a matter of fact, they love to remind you that if you're looking to work for a great company and you're a great employee, let's make a partnership at U.S. Pest. You can find out more by going to uspest.com. That's uspest.com. You can also find out how to get a free inspection from U.S. Pest. Every home in Tennessee is threatened, right? And you know the bugs. I list them out for you on a daily basis. But termite protection, preventative and corrective services are available with a 100% money-back guarantee. And full-service pest control available with a 100% money-back guarantee. And friends, we're just getting into fall pest season, right? Summer has its own set of issues with fleas and ticks. Fall got its own set of issues with roaches and ladybugs and stink bugs and spiders trying to get into your home and take what's yours. They're little communists, these bugs. We need to eliminate that out of our lives. I know two things about U.S. Pest. They love the United States of America and they hate bugs. USPest.com or 590-1260. 590-1260. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, spending a little bit of time going over all things Davidson County and Nashville, Tennessee with our good friend Courtney Johnston. She is on the Nashville Metro Council. Pamela Furr is also with us. She's on the phone line. Pamela Furr, obviously longtime resident of Davidson County. She knows what she's talking about in this community as well. And you are so funny, Pamela. Pamela texted me during the break, and she said, "Can I please talk to Courtney?" I was like, well, she's here. I'll get out of the way and let you ladies solve all of these issues.
No, I just wanted to make sure I could say hello.
Oh, well, of course. No,
Courtney.
she's
Hey,
right here.
Pamela.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So to answer the question, I think it is super frustrating when we sound the alarm bells and we get so little response as it relates to people getting involved and staying engaged. It is frustrating. In this particular situation, I'm not saying they shouldn't have come out or giving an excuse, but it was that cake was baked, and that's a process problem from just Metro's perspective, when we have a budget, our process is such that the mayor puts forth a budget. Once that happens, the council can amend it or substitute it, which is what we do. And that's what everybody came out and was upset about. But if we vote the substitute down, the mayor's budget goes into place. So who has the power as it relates to the budget is the mayor. And so unless you have someone, so this time, we had this huge increase in spending, and I filed a substitute budget myself that had a much lesser increase in spending, but an increase in spending nonetheless that I was not happy with. But I also know that I have to get a certain number of votes. They wouldn't even consider mine because it wasn't enough. And so, but unless you have at least 21 people that are willing to say, we don't like this $400 million increase in spending or whatever it is, and we're going to create a whole new budget. Unless you have that, the mayor's budget or some version very close to it is going to pass.
She's right. And but the frustrating part is, did 21 city council members hear from constituents to say, don't do this to us. Please do not do this to us. You can do better. And they didn't.
Well, they did. We got a lot of emails. I will say that. We did get a lot of emails.
Well, the struggle is that sometimes you're dealing with an uninformed voting population, and they believe that if they rent property, for example, that they will not be impacted by a property tax increase, when the three of us sitting here know very well that's not true, that if I'm a property owner and my property taxes go from, as an example, $500,000 to $1 million in total, well, I'm going to subdivide that up, and I'm going to pass that cost along to the lessees of the property. Of course I am.
Well, and people also have gotten calls and emails because they've gotten their bills, and they've said, wait a minute, where did this come from? This came out of nowhere. I don't remember voting on this. And it's like, well, you don't vote on your property tax rate.
Right.
The way that you vote for that is in these local elections. And so I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Elections matter. 2027 is coming, and people need to get engaged and get educated and get involved and get off their tushes and go to the polls.
Well, I've also...
She's right.
100% she's right. And I've often seen it over my years of doing this, whether it's in Nashville or Birmingham, and I want to use something that's about to come down in a future conversation as an example. We had this conversation about property taxes. I met with GOP Nashville. I met with AFP, with Pamela's organization. I met with the No Tax Tennessee folks. Oh, what's his name? Ben Cunningham. Ben Cunningham.
Nashville Tea Party.
Yeah, with the Nashville Tea Party. I met with all those organizations. We had them all on air. We tried to get this information out to the maximum amount of people we could. And now you're seeing a lot of people come out and say, what happened? We didn't know. What about, this is awful. And it's too late. The Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway is going to be the exact same way. I've seen it too many times where you can impact this right now. But once a decision is made, all you can do is lament the fact that they're going to bulldoze the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And if you don't have your voice loud and clear in front of the mayor's office and tell him to approve what is a no-brainer deal, and I know it's a different deal, and I know it's a passion project on my part, but I've seen it. These bedrocks of communities go missing because money exchanges hands and because big money people want to do something else with the property, and then people lament the fact after it's done and there's nothing they can do. You can do something now. You can't do something then.
Yep.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway has been there for well over 100 years. It is a big part of Nashville's history, and we've got several council members that have gone over and above to try to protect what they feel is important to their history. So the Morrison Building, 88 Hermitage Avenue, there's several things. You either want to protect history and the soul of Nashville or you don't. You can't pick and choose. So if you don't care about racing, that's fine. This is part of the fabric of what Nashville was built on. It's a charter protected use. And it's not like NASCAR is going to be there every single weekend. It's literally one more NASCAR race every other year, I believe. I'm sure Norm can
I mean,
send a text message. With sound mitigation.
Yeah, I think that the sound mitigation will mitigate the sound.
Right.
So you get like a 50% reduction in the amount of sound that exists. Right. The number of weekends, I think, are 9 now, and it'll change to 10 in every other year.
Every other year.
Because of the addition of one NASCAR race.
Basically, a half of a race every year more.
Right.
With sound mitigation, with the we take that liability off of our balance sheet, because right now it's costing the city and the taxpayers millions of dollars just for maintenance on this thing that really is falling apart. It is not in good repair at this moment, so it does cost us money. To making us money, mitigating the need to increase property taxes down the way, creating an asset. The neighborhood that's there, that Wedgwood Houston neighborhood, guess what? That racetrack was there well before your house was.
Well, and
more than likely.
And I don't want to hear about a disruption in traffic when they just put in a huge soccer stadium right next door.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the neighbors complaining about traffic mitigation when nobody seemed to have an issue with that. I don't know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. This was before my time, but you have a huge soccer stadium that's there that promotes 30,000 people per soccer game on the regular. So what are we even talking about?
Well, there's a lot of neighbors over there that like it. They charge to let people park in their stuff, and it's like a little tailgate. I mean, they like it. So anyway, I just at this point we're just waiting, just like we've been waiting on every other thing that has supposed to have been brought before us, because the O'Connell administration. I would love to see what's the height of the projects that are stacked on his desk at this moment.
Well, and it's my understanding the Fair Board has already approved it. I think I was there the night that they did. As a matter of fact, it was 2 years ago. Do they have to reapprove it now because it's been so long?
Well, and because the deal has changed a little bit, so I think they do have to approve it. I can be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it has to go back before the Fair Board.
What are we waiting on?
Doesn't that feel like they're doing that on purpose?
Yeah, of course it does.
Well, anyway, it's very, very frustrating.
I mean, there are entities. Are there not entities? Is there not a movement to attempt to get a vote of the people to change the charter?
Yeah, a referendum. Yeah.
Because it would take a vote of the people to actually change the charter to remove
that protected use.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
And what do they want to do with the property if that's the case? They claim they want green space?
Greenway, parks, something, I don't know. I've got
It's
news
nonsense.
for you. Parks does not have the capacity to take on that much more acreage as far as maintenance. They are already overextended, greenways, all of that.
Let me make a promise to you. It will be condominiums or a parking lot if it's not a speedway. It will be condominiums or a parking lot if it's not a speedway. Let me say it one more time. It will be condominiums or a parking lot if it's not a speedway.
Tragic.
And it would be tragic because you can put a parking lot or condominiums anywhere.
Yeah.
And why would you select the one place where there's something that's been there since 1904?
Right.
I don't know.
I will say this too, Matt. What I am tired of is somebody who's been here for a significant amount of time is that the landmarks that we value keep getting torn down, or they keep, like you said, paving it. And that is it is ruining what makes Nashville what Nashville is, and so you can put up other stuff and you can have the tourists and the big buildings and the corporations come, but don't tear down our landmarks. And the Nashville Motor Speedway is one of those.
What?
So, you know what I mean? I mean, it's at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
That is one of our landmarks.
Of course it is. And there's only one of them. And once it's gone, you can never get it back. And there are entities that in silence, they will make it happen. And they're willing to wait to make it happen. And sadly, we've got a mayor that can't seem to make decisions about where he is on. And I do believe that it's a matter of O'Connell wanting to please everyone, not wanting to upset anyone. And so, I mean, I call him Feckless Freddy, and he's mad at me because I call him that because he told me that he knows that I call him Feckless Freddy, and he didn't like being called Feckless Freddy because I think it hits too close to home. He can't make a decision about anything for fear that he's going to upset the other side on the issue.
And meanwhile, he's making everyone upset.
Right, because there's no movement on the fairgrounds. There's no movement on LPRs. Why is it, Courtney, that the WeGo buses can be cameraed? Is that not true that on the WeGo buses, they now have camera systems on
They
them?
now have a surveillance system on the WeGo buses, which I, personally am in favor for safety. What I don't like is the double standard. When I asked, because we didn't approve that, the council didn't approve that. I would have voted to have it, but we didn't have that before us. There is an ordinance that says any type of surveillance, the council has to vote on it. We didn't vote on that because NES, WeGo, MNAA, which is the airport authority, and there's one other entity, was exempted from that ordinance, from that requirement. And so those cameras went up, no questions asked. And, I'm grateful for it because the people that ride the bus are going to be that much safer. But it just is such a double standard because we're talking about surveillance because, oh, Lord, the immigrant community or the trans community or whatever it is. It's like, well, aren't those same people going to be riding the bus? Where's the outrage for the cameras on the bus, the same outrage for LPRs or FUSIS for safety for everybody?
Right, because the argument against license plate readers, I understand that there's a civil libertarian argument, setting that one aside for a moment. The argument made by the majority on the council would be that this can be used somehow against targeted portions of our community?
Yes.
Despite the fact that there are safeguards in place to prevent any of that from happening?
So many safeguards.
But they argue, but they could still do it. Well, why wouldn't you make that same argument for surveillance on the WeGo buses?
Right. Well, and they can't make the argument, but they're not even trying. Like, I haven't seen one post from any of my colleagues that oppose this technology that just, are beside themselves pearl clutching about the cameras on the WeGo buses.
Well, look, if there's,
you can't make it make sense.
Pamela, can you think of something outside of taxing us more that Freddie's done in 2 years?
I know he's ridden the bus a couple times.
He was in that awesome commercial about the Trashly lady.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that commercial?
Yeah.
No,
so
I have not seen that commercial.
I think we're making the lady that's trashing up Nashville a little too cool in the commercial. Have y'all?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a pickup truck and she's throwing trash out of the pickup truck and she's knocking over trash cans and she's all cool and wearing flannel.
Well, and I talked with NDOT and TDOT before because I knew we needed to start doing some stuff around littering, and there was a really cool campaign that they did back in the 70s, and you should go back and look at it. And I said, look, how cheap is this? Just start running these ads again. It's retro. It's cool. It gets the point across. Again, it's free. And instead we're going to do this whole new commercial. It's just.
I'll tell you what to do. I got it. I'm stealing this directly from Birmingham, but I'm altering it just a little bit. Birmingham, Alabama had a campaign called Anti-Litter, and it was AUNTIE. Anti-litter, anti-litter, right? Uh-huh. And, she was like an old, school marm type, but just sex that up, okay? Make anti-litter like a hot,
woo girl.
like a woo girl. But she's anti-litter, like a 40-year-old anti-litter, and make it hot, and then there you go. Sex sells, everybody. And Courtney's looking at me like I just ate a roach.
Well,
she's giving me that look like, okay, this took a turn, and I'm just going to sit here and nod my head.
I'm not understanding the sex because we want to make anti-litter ugly.
No.
No, she's the bad one.
No, she's anti-litter.
Oh, she's anti
a good
and
one.
anti.
She's anti-litter.
Got it.
She's
so it's
anti-litter.
sexy to not litter.
It's sexy to not litter. It's
Yeah.
sexy
Got
to be
it.
anti-litter. Got it?
Got
See,
it.
Now that makes sense.
Got it.
That
See,
makes sense.
if you have to explain it
But
that
does it have
much,
to
it's
be a
probably.
girl?
That's better than Ms. Trashley or whatever the hell she's called.
Does it have to be a girl though? Can we? We can't do an uncle because then that it
destroys the whole anti thing. Right?
I was just looking for a sexy dude. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll figure you something out. I'll figure some spouse of anti-litter to be, we'll figure out. I guarantee you the listening audience is already sending it on the super text line, Pamela. So
probably so.
Pamela, thank you for your
All
story.
right.
Thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for everything you do for our city and our state. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.
All right. See you later. What do we need to do on some of these issues? Show up?
Yeah, I mean, the more you can be informed and engaged, the better off you're going to be. And there's lots of places to go to get informed, and it can be partisan, it can be nonpartisan, it doesn't matter. Just start paying attention, because by the time you get the bill in the mail, it is way, way too late, right? And the power is in your ballot. The power is in your ballot. It happens once every 4 years. We vote for mayor, vice mayor, and all 40, maybe 20 or less council members.
When's that going to be decided, by the way? Pretty soon, right?
Well, it's in the Supreme Court's hand, and there is no
timetable.
Yep, they don't. Yeah. They do things on their own time, so we'll see. But the election, regardless, will be in 2027, and I'm telling you, it is important. Now, it's not just your property taxes; it's your zoning. Are we going to upzone the entire county for whatever the missing middle is and this affordable housing? It's that's one power that council members have, is that they can rezone your property, whether you like it or not. And so truly, I feel like 2027 is going to be a turning point for Nashville, because of all of these initiatives that are coming from within and from outside that are going to be affecting the direction of the county. She is Metro City Council person, Courtney Johnston. Thank you. You're welcome. For everything. That's a great hour. We'll be back in a moment. 2 more to go on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here, and there's one thing everybody can agree on. We don't agree on much, but we agree on this. Taking your car in for repairs is complicated and can be a big hassle. Your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of your problems in fixing your vehicle, particularly a European vehicle, is not someone trying to rip you off. It's a knowledge issue. A lot of techs are not properly trained, so they end up guessing what to do, and that causes delays and hassles in getting your vehicle back and repeat visits for the same issue. You never experienced this at Eurofix. For over a quarter of a century, Eurofix has done things differently. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, so you know exactly what's going on before they start the work. And at Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company, but they still keep pricing below dealer prices. Eurofix fixes your European vehicle with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all work they perform. Rental cars also available, locally owned, family-run, 5 locations. Call or book. MyEurofix.com. That's MyEurofix.com.
Here I am. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, thousands of homeowners not happy with the property tax bills that have begun arriving in the mail. Metro Council person Courtney Johnston suggesting homeowners who are angry over the massive tax increase vote accordingly in the 2027 election.
Or at least vote at all. I mean, our voter turnout in these local elections, the people on the first and second floor of the historic courthouse in Davidson County affect your life a trillion times more than anybody in the White House or at the Capitol.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. Then the Metro Council raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure, and homeowners are now being asked to pay up now. The ninth vote in the Senate today failed to end the federal government shutdown, now in day 15. President Trump threatening to use the government shutdown to cut what he calls Democrat programs. Then a federal judge today blocked his attempt at mass firings across the federal government as a way to pressure Democrats. Supreme Court justices hearing a case related to congressional maps in Louisiana, but it could have major implications on voting across the country. We get more from ABC's Perry Russum.
This case is out of Louisiana and centers around the drawing of a congressional map that creates two new districts with a majority of black voters to alleviate possible violations of the Voting Rights Act after a different map was drawn. So then a group of white voters in Louisiana got together and sued, saying that it violated equal protection.
So reports say that a majority of justices think Louisiana needs to go back to the drawing board because race was used to create the two Democratic majority districts. And right now in Tennessee, they're putting $7.2 million into child care. The state's expanding its wages program, offering bonuses to child care workers who stay on the job and pursue education. Eligible employees can now earn up to $7,800 a year. More workers qualify thanks to a higher income cap. It's all part of an effort to fight high turnover and improve access to child care across the state. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. We picked up a crash in Madison here. It's Mayette Drive at Gallatin Pike. Glen Cliff still got an accident showing. Left lane blocked, 24 eastbound before Briley Parkway South. Rivergate, police say there's a new crash, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans. Also, look for a crash 40 eastbound. This is at Fessler's Lane. Then a crash blocking the right lane 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Then downtown over here on the West Loop, police reporting a crash 40 westbound at 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
Here we are. Here we go. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you. It is hour number 2. I apologize for being a little tardy getting into the top of the hour. I apologize to Ken Weaver. And most importantly, I apologize to all of you who come to expect the mellifluous tones of Kenneth Weaver at the top and bottom of every hour. And I make him late, and that's on me. And I apologize. I just want to apologize to everyone.
That's all right, Brother Murphy.
That's on me, Ken, and I'm going to try to do better. Every time, by the way, Cameron Smith is in studio with us, and every time you bring this in, for some reason, I think the top word on that, you bring that big old honking mug in. Hello, Cameron.
Yeah, I press the button sometimes. Yeah. It's my Youth Village's mug, yeah.
Yeah, but foster families.
Yes.
Well, for some reason, I see the top of that. It says mentor, but I only see the M-E-N-T, and I think it's going to say menthol.
Yes.
And I don't know why.
I drink menthol.
I don't know why. I feel like you're advertising for Newports.
Yes. I'm classy like that.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm great.
I haven't talked to you in forever.
I am rested after a vacation down 65 to Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And we inadvertently brought a hermit crab home. His name is Jeff. Yep. The boys, they picked up his shell because it was a big shell.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess.
Wait a minute. Hold on. They picked up a shell. Come on, man.
I know. They picked up the shell. They don't tell me these things. They just do them.
Leave only footprints, take only memories.
Yeah. So they smuggled the shell. And then it was in a plastic baggie on the countertop.
And then it started moving.
Big old hermit crab pressing his face up like,
cannot breathe.
Yeah, so he was named Jeff, and now the boys are trying to make sure Jeff has the high life.
Are they, how do you take care of a hermit crab?
It's a lot more complicated than I realized, but we have a new habitat. All this stuff is like Jeff, if he can just stay alive, he's going to have it made.
It's just a matter of
that part.
Just keep living. But, well,
Yeah.
you know what? I feel like we all got that, right?
Yeah.
If we can just stay alive.
Just a little longer.
We got it made.
Hold on, Jeff.
Hold on, Jeffrey. How did he get his name, Cameron?
Because my oldest was scared, like, just walking by, sees it, was like, Jeff's a pretty big hermit crab.
Yeah.
And because my son...
Wait, so he had stayed hidden in there the entire ride home?
Yes. And
as you would.
Then my oldest son, because there's that meme out there, my name is Jeff, and it's
my name is Jeff.
Yes, and the beast was like, well, then his name should be Jeff. Okay, great. And if I, just to all you parents out there in Radio Land, if I hear 6-7 one more time, I'm going to lose my mind.
It doesn't mean anything.
I know. That's why I'm going to lose my mind. They're just looking for opportunities to say 6-7, and it's killing me.
But it gives me, every time it comes up, a chance to tell the dad joke again.
Yeah, it does.
You know the dad joke?
No, I don't.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean,
you told that joke yesterday.
You know, if you were actually listening about 10 seconds ago, you would have heard me say, I love it. I love it when people that aren't listening to the conversation horn in on the conversation. You know that? You know how much I love that? Well, because like 10 seconds ago, I said, it gives me a chance to tell this joke again. And I tell it every time this comes up.
He's a Tennessee fan. He's a little slow on the uptake. It's okay.
Okay, you want to do this now?
Let's go. I'm salty.
You are. That everybody's like, he's got to calm it down today. He's getting a little wild.
I don't know. I'm grumpy because I'm sick.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You know, we had a nice all the best words though. I strongly encourage folks to listen or watch whenever you have availability. Go over to Supertalk 99.7 WTN, YouTube, and a lot of other platforms.
Well, I was hoping Jackson would make it pretty, but apparently he's not into that.
Mason's going to make it pretty.
That's what
Jackson,
I heard.
not so much.
Yeah.
Jackson's making other things pretty. Like yours truly on this broadcast right now. Right, Jackson?
Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
I am not very good at my job.
Well, it's a tough it's a tough canvas to paint on, you know what I'm saying?
Don't find out about this.
This is you chose a rough, you know what a medium is? That, art has a medium.
I thought a medium was somebody who talks to dead people.
True that. That's
Also
another
a thing.
version. Yeah, also a thing. But you picked a rough medium to do your art in.
You talk to dead people?
If you're dealing with this canvas. No, but I've seen that lady with the blonde hair that talks like a Yankee on TV. She talks to him. She talks to dead folks.
Is that the Long Island medium?
I believe that's correct. That would, you know what? If you don't watch that show, Jackson, right up your alley.
I don't watch that show.
By the way, ask Jackson if he did his homework and watched his movie.
Jackson, did you watch your movie?
I did watch my movie.
I watched my movie too, Jackson.
We'll get into that in the 6 o'clock hour.
The future of the Murphy movie mayhem survives. Because if we didn't do it by today, I feel like the bit would have just fallen apart.
Because then, if we watch it tonight and we got to talk about it on Thursday, we're getting a new movie on Friday.
Right. And it would, just kind of compounds on itself. Where do you want to go, Cameron? Lots of different ways.
There are so many options.
Let's start with a conversation that came up on All the Best Words. This issue involving these young Republicans in the Politico piece. Okay, so, it's a hit piece. Fair?
Yeah.
I imagine for the likes of Politico, it's a good hit.
Yeah.
Solid hit.
The future of the Republican Party loves Hitler.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
What do you make of it?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I have 5 developing young men in my care, and they are prone to test the bounds of what is appropriate. And I think it's important in these instances that when these things happen, that you call them out and say, look, this is inappropriate. We can't do that. And they deal with the consequences of their actions, because it just sets a standard that we don't do that. That's not what we're about. That's not what the future of the GOP is about. We do not need to crucify them. We don't need to ruin their lives forever. But having consequences for dumb decisions is a reasonable thing. And you don't want to teach these folks that it's okay to say, well, I don't know. I apologize, but it may have been manipulated and it was taken under coercion. I'm like, no, you said stupid stuff you shouldn't have said. You're trying to get shock value with your buddies.
Right.
And that is inappropriate, and you cannot and should not do that. Done.
100% agree. But what I do see I see a lot of Republicans being asked about this by the mainstream media. And the Republicans are all saying the same thing, is that, yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, these are young people that need to learn a lesson from this. But it doesn't seem to be enough for the people in the mainstream media. They seem to want more. They seem to want a pound of flesh that I don't know exactly what they want out of this story, except to force Republicans to denounce.
You have to virtue signal harder, Matt. That's because here's a good example. In the sort of other situation with the sort of murder fantasies of the Virginia Attorney General candidate, was that Jay
Jones?
Jay Jones, yeah. The gubernatorial candidate has said, I just denounce this. This is bad, but I'll leave it up to the voters. Like, okay. But like the idea here is other folks have said, I think Tim Kaine got in on it. It's bad, but the voters should decide. I'm like, you really want to murder fantasy guy as the highest law enforcement officer here? Like, do you want to come out a little harder? And I think the issue here on a lot of this stuff is be reasonable in the response to the thing. Here, if I'm a Democrat, I'm like, no, I don't want to be around your murder fantasy weirdness. You are not a great candidate. I am, but you're not.
But there's nothing punitive that happens to them on the back end for doing that.
Well, let's be honest. The left has sort of surrendered any sort of moral anything a long time ago. That was not the jam. If you'll recall, it was, well, the conservatives, they're conserving the moral order. We have MTV. That was kind of the trade-off, right? And I think what my point is, I don't want to join them. I think having a sense of ethics, a sense of morality that's over and above my politics is really important, right?
But I also, I refuse to play the game that is set up by liberals for liberals to win.
Yeah, well, you're right to call out the your whataboutism, so you have to stop with your pointing out the truth.
And you and I were talking about this earlier that, so if you say Young Republicans Politico article, and I say, yeah, but you didn't do the same thing on the Jay Jones story, they go, oh, stop doing whataboutism. Me pointing out your hypocrisy is not whataboutism. It's pointing out your hypocrisy.
And I think I've thought about that since we talked about it earlier, and I think the right answer is I'm pointing out both as problematic behavior. You're not.
Right.
And then,
you're choosing.
So you are saying my team good, your team bad. And when you do that, it's bad. You can't do that. I'm saying this instance on my team, bad. They should not have done that.
Correct.
There need to be consequences. I'm also saying this murder fantasy stuff is really messed up. If you want to run that candidate, you go right ahead.
And what frustrates me when the media gets involved, a lot of them, hashtag never CNN and some of the other networks, they pretend to be neutral players in this. And on one side of it, they say, this young Republican story, is that bad? And they force you to answer, and you say, yes, it's bad, it's awful, it's horrible, and this should not happen. Well, should these people be in positions of power within this orbit? Of course not,
right.
People say.
It's
they
easy
need to
to
be
say.
fought. It's easy to say. But they don't do that on the other side. On the other side, they say, is this bad? And people say, yeah, it's bad. And if they bother to ask the question, should this person get out of the race? Should they be in a position of power? The Democrats don't answer that question, and they allow them just to walk.
Yeah. Well, my response to people that do that is you're using it as a moral justification. I'm not justifying the behavior of people on my team that act like knuckle-dragging idiots. But you are. So let's not. And then we're all going to be better off. As a Republican, though, who recognizes the importance of Virginia, I am not upset at all if you want to keep the murder fantasy guy as a candidate. I'm not going to argue with you. If that's your jam, that's who you want to be, go ahead.
Well, and we played the other day, we played the clip from Winsome Sears and Abigail Spanberger or whatever her name is, where she's looking at her saying, I mean, she says her, I mean, it's very brilliant. She says her name repeatedly, and she's looking directly at her. And this Abigail lady refuses to look at Winsome Sears, and she keeps saying, is this okay, Abigail? Is this all right with you, Abigail? And the other lady, I don't know Abigail Spanberger. I don't know what her I mean, I know she's a liberal Democrat, but whatever. But she comes off really badly.
Yeah. And
she comes off non-human.
It's really easy if you have any moral sense. When somebody does something that's wrong, you just, is this okay? No.
Of course it's not
That's
okay.
what you do. And then you say, it's not okay. I'm not going to substitute my judgment for that of the voters. Okay, fine. That's a fair answer.
Right. Or answer it this way. And I don't mean to give them tips on how to do this, but you look at them, you look at Winsome Sears and say, Winsome, I will answer your question. Of course it was wrong. Of course it's ridiculous. But I'm focused on my governor's race. I'm not here to tell anyone else what they are supposed to do. They have to figure that out on their own. But I trust the voters of Virginia to examine this on their own and figure it out for themselves and to vote accordingly.
And the demands, look, I'm an opinion columnist, right? I have opinions. But the idea that someone can demand you make moral statements about everything that happens on the planet, don't play the game.
And 8779 points out the issue that you and I have been talking about. What murder is fantasy? What did I miss? That's the point, is that the media won't cover certain aspects of the news, and they cover relentlessly other aspects of the news. The attorney, well, I tell you what, we'll explain it to you in just a moment. Cameron's with us. 2164 wants to tell you that he heard you loved 6-7.
I can't.
You know what? I would like to talk about this a little more, but 6-7.
That's not.
Am I using it right?
No, you're not.
Well, how do you know? You don't know what it means.
It doesn't mean anything, but your use is wrong.
6-7. Jackson just told me I was old in my year. And I know that, Jackson. I know that I'm old. But you know what's not old? Stoltz Co. Well, Stoltz Co's been around for a minute or two. But what isn't old is the possibility of building you a brand new pole barn, garage space, equestrian space, event space, or a barn dominium. Man, oh man, these are nice quality structures. You really have to go to StoltzCo.com to see the quality I'm talking about. Incredible structures at a reasonable price, less than you can get traditional construction for, especially when you're talking about that barn dominium, big open spaces. If you own property and you're looking for something to do with that property that will increase the property value, if you want to put money into real assets by building on your land, let Stoltz Co. Build a high-quality, customized structure at a reasonable price. You sit down with Stoltz Co. and you tell them your dream, and they have turnkey options now where literally everything, every aspect of the build on this property is taken care of, and they hand you the keys and you move in. Or you can be involved with every aspect of the build as well. If you're looking to get to the country and build some sort of retirement home, perhaps you're looking for something for the in-laws, or you want someplace to hang out on the weekends, Stoltz Co. is your builder. StoltzCo.com, 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 or call 615-622-5992, 622-5992 for our friends at Stoltz Co.
Nashvillians are getting those property tax bills in the mail, and we'll tell you about how they're feeling. Coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Right after the real news at 5:30, we have nincompoops in the news. It's a daily feature on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very excited about that. I think I get to go first today.
You did not win yesterday.
I most certainly did. You can go back and look.
I think we let Cameron go first.
Why would you say that? You worried that I'm going to steal your story?
No, I just think Cameron deserves a win this week for what's going to happen on Saturday.
How long have you been thinking about that, big boy?
Since I saw you earlier.
I can hear that processor going chugga, 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 chugga. Oh, thought. And go Vols. You know?
See, it's an attitude like that that makes me root for the Big Orange.
Hey, look, I had to deal with a year of losing.
I'm all in on the Big Orange, by the way.
Yeah, right. I had to deal with a year of losing to Vandy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It does not get worse than that.
Uh-huh.
Except for if maybe you're an LSU fan and you're an underdog to Vandy for the first time in ever.
Yeah.
So
is that a thing?
It is.
Wow. Scott has written in, and Scott is very concerned about something that we've discussed on the show today, and I don't blame him. I want to read to you Scott's message. If I had some tender music to play in the background, like some, you know what I mean? Some like piano music in the background, I would be playing that soft piano music to make this as tender as. That's.
There you go. You asked for some tender, wholesome music.
It's not tender. And unless my ears deceive me, I don't think that's a piano. I think that's
that song that Georgia played at Neyland Stadium, right?
That's a banjo.
They didn't play it.
We did.
They did not.
We did too.
That is fake news.
What do you mean? I was sitting there.
No, it was so Tennessee pumps their band throughout the stadium, and one of the giant speakers sits in front of the visiting band.
Oh, so that
was Tennessee's band.
Oh, so that was not our band playing Rocky Top after beating Tennessee.
It was
overtime.
not.
Oh, should have been.
On the record, everybody, I'm rooting for Tennessee this weekend.
Go Vols!
Because nobody likes Alabama, except for Cameron.
That's probably fair.
Scott writes in, Jeff. He's writing about Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, the hermit crab.
Yeah.
What if Jeff has a family? And his baby crabs are wondering, where the hell's Jeff? His wife having to go to work. Now has to find a new home because you guys stole Jeff and their house.
Pretty sure that's not how that works. With
Some homeless
crabs.
hermits.
Yeah. Well, Jeff got deported. Sorry.
Well, he didn't have no papers.
Yeah.
What did you buy for Jeff? I'm genuinely curious.
Ridiculous things that somebody who's like a crab enthusiast would get, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Because they're basically like spiders. Like, okay, whatever.
Right.
Not very emotional, not very cuddly. But the boys are like, we got to do this.
What do they eat?
Hermit crab food and blueberries and
I feel like
fruit.
you've just left this to your boys. You're the credit card. In this situation.
That thing's gonna die.
We split it. Like that was my sort of, we'll do a matching program for Jeff. I'm still not super convinced Jeff didn't like retract out of fright and then die. Like I hadn't seen Jeff. Like,
but y'all have seen Jeff once.
Cam, my oldest, saw Jeff, and allegedly Jeff has moved in the nighttime. But I'm not.
I think he's dead.
I think he might be right, Jackson.
I'm pretty sure that Jeff is deceased.
Yeah.
No more.
Deader than Alabama's playoff chances Sunday night.
He is an ex-hermit crab. I heard that, Jackson. It's past 31 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 W10.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Metro Councilwoman Courtney Johnston has a suggestion for homeowners in Nashville who just got their tax bills showing a massive increase.
What I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. Then the Metro Council raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure, and homeowners are being asked to pay up now. Another vote in the U.S. Senate, still no deal to reopen the federal government. Meanwhile, a federal judge blocking the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers during the shutdown as a way to pressure Democrats to change their position. Judge Susan Ilston in the Northern District of California called the move reckless and warned of serious human costs. Supreme Court justices are hearing a case related to congressional maps in Louisiana, but it could have major implications on voting rights across the country. More from ABC's Perry Russum.
This case is out of Louisiana and centers around the drawing of a congressional map that creates 2 new districts with a majority of black voters to alleviate possible violations of the Voting Rights Act after a different map was drawn. So then a group of white voters in Louisiana got together and sued, saying that it violated equal protection.
Yeah, reports say a majority of justices think Louisiana needs to go back to the drawing board. Here in Tennessee, no Kings protests coming to Nashville and other Middle Tennessee areas. In fact, there's 30 rallies planned across the state on Saturday, the largest set for Nashville, 10 a.m. at the state capitol. Organizers say the movement opposes authoritarian policies they say are part of the Trump administration. Attendees urged to follow safety guidelines. They say leave those weapons at home. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glencliff got a crash blocking the left lane, 24 eastbound before Briley Parkway. Southside accident, 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane. South Loop a crash, 40 eastbound at the 2440 downtown split. Madison a crash, Mayette Drive and Gallatin Pike. The slowdown starts at Tennessee 45 and Old Hickory Boulevard. Look for a crash, Briley Parkway southbound at I-24. And in Laverne, a crash, 24 eastbound near Waldron Road. Creve Hall, overturned vehicle blocking the left two lanes, 65 northbound near the Hogan Road overpass. Accident in South Nashville, right lane block, 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, Shane Ring has taught me one thing about health insurance. He's taught me a lot of things about health insurance, but one thing he taught me is that, folks say, oh, well, I've got to wait till open enrollment. You don't. As a matter of fact, you can make a lot of decisions throughout the course of the year involving your health insurance. But if you were conditioned to believe that it's open enrollment or nothing, well, now's the time, right? It's the middle of October. That means open enrollment periods are here, and it's time to take an examination of your health insurance. Whether you're getting it through your employer or not, are you getting the most for your insurance, and is there a better way? Shane Ring and Cover Nash can answer these questions. They do not work for any insurance companies. They work for you. You are their customer. In other words, they're going to shop these insurance companies. They're going to find the right one for you, for your specific needs. They're going to find the right value for you, and only then will they recommend a particular product for you. Now, they've got plenty of products that they absolutely love. For example, at Cover Nash, they've got a nationwide PPO plan that gives you the freedom to choose your doctor anywhere in the United States with only a $250 deductible. Yes, you heard me correctly. Ask Shane Ring and Cover Nash about that when you make the call, or stop by the website, coverdash.com. That's coverdash.com, or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023. Tell my friend in Brentwood, Shane Ring and Cover Nash, that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Cover Nash. Normally when I talk to you about Genesis Diamonds, I'm very excited to talk to you about, diamonds, because it's right there in their name. And they have the best selection of diamonds anywhere for me in the United States of America. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about something a little different. I'm going to talk to you about their incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Have you always wanted a Rolex, gentlemen? Have you let your significant other know this? Well, one way or the other, it is time to find out if you can get one from, well, I know you can get one from Genesis Diamonds, but it's time because they have the best sale going October 24th and 25th. That is not this weekend, but next weekend. An incredible display of Rolex watches at killer prices. Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, including some of the new models, some of which have never been worn. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and up to 60 months, zero interest financing. You heard me correctly, on approved credit, of course. Listen to this. With the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will also offer you a pair of 4-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings, the highest of qualities, absolutely free. Absolutely free just for purchasing a pre-owned Rolex, one that you've always wanted from Genesis Diamonds. It's a big event, the 24th and 25th, only at Genesis, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills, and Cool Springs. See store for details while supplies last. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. To answer your question from the super text line, TB, no, that is not me. And I don't really think that looks a lot like me. But I suppose thank you. It looks like a younger fellow than me. I got TB sending me a photograph of some fellow who's been arrested for some sort of football infraction. Arrest, which was made regarding online threats ahead of the BYU-Utah game. You know, when BYU and Utah get together, whew, throw those record books out the window. Man.
I got a funny story about that game.
Talk to me, Ken.
Yeah, in Boise, the sports station there, when that game came around, they'd always have, some former members of the BYU and Utah football players, teams that would come on and talk about that game. And this one guy from BYU said every time they would tackle somebody from Utah, they'd get in their ear hole on their helmet and say, "Welcome to the fold, brother."
That's pretty good.
And it cracked me up.
That's pretty awesome. Welcome to the fold, brother. That freaked me out.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's a little freaky, a little cultish going on. Hey, speaking of freaky and cultish, it's time for Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Nincompoops in the News.
I love it when you folks send me nincompoops, and I wish that I would collect them and have them at the ready when we do Nincompoops in the News, but I don't. I get sent these things on various platforms. I don't know if you're getting it already. I don't know if you're getting it too, Cameron. You're only here once a week, but are you fellas getting nincompoops? Do people send y'all nincompoops? I get them.
I get them from time to time.
Yeah, and they send them to me on like Facebook Messenger and other places, and I'm like, I can't find them when the time comes, and I don't think about them until the time comes, and there I am, left to my own devices. All right, so we have a 4-way nincompoop today, and according to young Jackson Williams, Cameron, you get to go first because, well, it's the only, what did you say? It's the only victory he's going to have this week?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Something,
go Vols.
Yeah, right.
Gross.
Cameron?
Pinellas County Sheriff's Office said Jordan Cotto, 26, was arrested on a battery charge. The incident happened at Atlantis Gentlemen's Club in Largo on Saturday evening. Cotto, a former employee, went to the club to speak with the manager, according to the arrest affidavit. He got into an argument, grabbed a cheeseburger from his vehicle, and threw it from his vehicle.
Oh.
Really?
Just let him go. Just let him go. Just let him. Look.
Again.
I'm
not going to do it anymore.
These are National
I'm not going to play.
These are National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation rules. Remember when Snots was in the living room and he goes, when he gets going at you, Clark, best just let him finish.
Yeah, he just threw a cheeseburger. I'm done. Whatever. Fine. It's fine.
I was going to let you go.
Thank you. It's fine.
You're welcome. I'm violating rule number 2 of Nincompoops in the News. Rule number 1 is don't do a story that somebody else has already done. Rule number 2 is when somebody dies, you probably shouldn't do that story. But I can't help myself because of the excuses being made by a man who's been now jailed for life after being found guilty of murdering his girlfriend in a hot tub in Shetland, England. Aaron Pearson, 41, stabbed a 24-year-old Claire Levesque to death at his mother's home. It's a sad story, but the reason that I present it in Nincompoops in the News was his excuse. The woman was stabbed 25 times. And while in court, the man maintained it was his official defense that she had killed herself after stabbing herself 25 separate times. Ms. Levesque, after being stabbed at that amount of time, the couple who are both from they're from Canada. They're actually in Scotland now. The trial was told that Pearson's late mother, who died in May, had dialed 999 on the evening of the murder, and his defense was totally that he was not there at the time of the attack and that she did it to herself. That's my nincompoop in the news. And I feel bad for bringing up the story. I apologize for not being better prepared.
Very sad.
I mean, I feel like I've brought the entire room down.
Yeah.
Go Vols. Boomer sooner. Roll.
Don't say it.
I can't do it.
You can't bring yourself to say roll tide, can you?
No. Go Dogs.
That's fair.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Okay. Ken might want to plug your ears for this one.
And by the way, Jackson, this is why we don't do death stories. I see every time I try it, it's a huge downer.
Just fell flat. Ken,
I don't know what's trying to do.
how you doing back there?
Well, I'm doing okay right now, Brother Jackson. Lay it on me.
All right. Brent Venables in his press conference today on playing in the SEC and it being a one-possession league. Venables had this to say: "This isn't the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody every single week except one game of the year." This was quote tweeted by none other than the Big 12 Conference, with Coach Venables lost 8 conference games in his 2 seasons in the Big 12. Come on, man. Just trying to revise history like that?
Well, do something about the 16 conference championships we won in the Big 12.
That is fair, Ken, but...
Oh, it's more than fair.
Oh, no, it was quite something to watch back in the day.
No defense.
Didn't need it in the Big 12.
Why are you smack talking Weaver? He's a friend.
Because he's next.
He's no fight. No, he's got this in the back. All Weaver has to do is naked dude walking down the street. He wins this.
No, I mean he's next on Tennessee's schedule.
Whoa. So wait,
Jackson.
Tennessee Volunteer fans are going ahead. You're going to look beyond Bama?
I'm sandwiched by hate.
Man. Just looking ahead of Bama.
Don't worry about it. We don't have an offense.
I'm going to repair my mistake made in Nincompoops in the News.
You did throw me a dead fish there.
I did. I'm going to repair my mistake in just a moment. I've got something that I think will make it all better after Ken goes. Okay, Ken, go.
This one's not very good, but here we go. Virginia Beach police urging more victims to come forward after they arrested a man for multiple indecent exposures. Throughout August, Virginia Beach police received several reports of an adult man exposing himself around the Great Neck and Hilltop areas of the Sit. I don't know what that is. After an investigation, police identified 70-year-old Robert Mason of Virginia Beach as the suspect. He was arrested on September 13th, charged with 4 counts of indecent exposure, 4 counts of public, wrestling with himself, and 1 count of being illegally parked in a handicap space.
Wrestling with himself.
The one-man tango.
Yeah, here we go. The part that gets me is he was also illegally parked.
Well, sometimes you got to go sometimes you got to take care of business. And
maybe it was
don't have enough time to find a space.
It's probably a busy spot. Anyway, he apparently frequented the same locations, but it took them a couple of weeks to find him. Well, they finally got him, and looks like justice is going to be served.
Well, hopefully justice is served. All right, real quick, so I can salvage Nincompoops in the News. It's
You destroyed it today.
It was just a rough day today.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm out of sorts. I'm operating at about 30%. That's all I can tell you. It's no excuses. That's all I have for you. All I have is excuses. But I do have this. It is Tennessee-Alabama Hate Week. And I don't care who you root for. This is funny.
Mm.
It is so my favorite. There's a lot of great lines in that. That is an Alabama fan from back in 2007, 2008.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
It's a while back. Being interviewed about what his thoughts are on Tennessee. My favorite is when he's talking about it's like the inside the pumpkin orange, and he just decides to throw it. And I don't like pumpkins.
Right.
You know.
I like it when he says it's that orange that doesn't sit well with you. Like,
Sits well with me.
I've never thought of that as a thing, a color not sitting well with me. But in that moment, I knew.
Nailing Stadium like a garbage truck workers convention.
He did that on purpose.
Man.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did it on Tuscaloosa's campus. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glorious.
And I love that he doesn't say he hates dogs. I'm not a dog person.
Right.
I hate Tennessee.
He must hate Dolly Parton, too.
Ooh.
Hold on. First of all, it's Tennessee. Secondly, okay. See, they're low down.
That's fair. Fair. A badge of honor. I've felt that at times.
Huh?
Orange is the best color in this great nation.
You're a dog guy.
Gainfully employed, unlike Alabama fans.
I need it. It's not. I hadn't noticed that before. It's not that orange that you can sit with.
Right. You can't sit with it.
Better than that Franzia color y'all got.
It's like my grandma. It's a phrase that my grandma would say. I can't sit with it.
Did you know that the Tennessee Vols have not won a national championship this millennium?
I did.
Okay. Just
I
want to
did.
make that clear.
Who was the last SEC team to win a natty? That's how we play Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There we go. There we go. I'm just throwing. Who's the SEC champion anyway right now?
I don't believe we've had that game this year.
I think so. I mean, everybody else leaving Georgia for dead. I'm just trying to remind people where we are. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News. 52 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Get back to your calls. Get back to the news of the day right after this. For the first time in Nincompoops in the News history, people are voting for all of us as the Nincompoops.
Very fair.
And I think it's totally fair. I think it's completely justified. I think we're declaring that today the Nincompoops are as follows: Cameron, Matt, Ken, Jackson. Oh. Not necessarily in that order. More on that coming up in a moment. I do want to remind you folks, no nincompoopery allowed when we talk about this, but if you're looking to protect your family, to protect your property, to protect your home, you need to do so by utilizing your Second Amendment rights. But if you're going to do that, you need to protect those things that protect your property with an incredible safe from Nashville Safe House. I just spoke with Mark today at Nashville Safe House. I was planning on heading out this morning, and I got waylaid by a couple of things, so I'm going out Friday morning to see Mark and his team at Nashville Safe House because I haven't been out in a while. I haven't seen the incredible selection. I love going out and perusing the selection. They have safes so big you walk through them. They have safes so big that they are not even safes. They're just vault doors that they install after you build that on your property. They have small biometrics as well that you can put by the bedside. I mean, for every taste, for every budget. For every price point, for every fire rating, they've got something for you. To include Brownings, I mean, they've got great rebates on a lot of the safes in stock right now. Plus, ask about the Matt Murphy special. That's the Matt Murphy special when you stop by Nashville Safe House. Go to NashvilleSafehouse.com. That's NashvilleSafehouse.com or 4th Avenue South across from City Cemetery. Come see the team at Nashville Safe House.
Nashvillians are getting those property tax bills. This story and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, the Matt Murphy Radio Show. You know, it's odd that we've been 3 hours on the radio on this Wednesday, October 15 edition. It is payday for many people, and I suppose, I don't know exactly how the government works its pay schedule, but I would think that it's the 15th and the end of every month, right?
Yeah,
I would think
that's
so.
Normal pay schedule.
So are there people that are not getting paid today within the federal government?
I think so, because they were talking about
I believe that's true.
that. Yeah. That
Air
this would
traffic
be
controllers are not.
Yeah, be the first paycheck missed. I'm gonna look it up.
Ken says air traffic controllers, no pay for them. So you would think that on a news talk program such as the Matt Murphy Radio Show, we pride ourselves of having our fingers on the pulse of the news that matters to you. And obviously Ken Weaver is the tip of that spear, and he's coming up in mere seconds. But you would think that we would have a more robust discussion about the government shutdown, but I don't think anybody cares. I mean, I understand that if you work for the government, I understand if you're a contractor for the government, and I understand if you have a family. I mean, I have family in the United States military.
Yeah, first federal paychecks were impacted as of October 10th, and then October 15th as the first time in history that members of all branches of the military miss a paycheck due to a government shutdown.
We've had a government shutdown that's over 30 days, though. How is that happening?
Because I think we passed the DOD approps bill. So you had a bill that covered everything else.
All right, I'm going to get to the bottom. We're going to get to the bottom of this right after Ken Weaver's news, and that's happening right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right here in Nashville, those property tax bills showing up in people's mailboxes. Metro Council member Courtney Johnston suggests homeowners who are angry vote accordingly in the 2027 election.
Or at least vote at all. I mean, our voter turnout in these local elections, the people on the first and second floor of the historic courthouse in Davidson County affect your life a trillion times more than anybody in the White House or at the Capitol.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. Then the Metro Council raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure. Homeowners now being asked to pay up. Fox 17 says 2/3 of 19,000 homeowners who appealed their new property values were denied. The ninth vote in the Senate failed to end the government shutdown. That ninth vote taken today. We're now into day 15. A federal judge, meanwhile, blocking the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers. One of the ways Trump was trying to pressure Democrats to approve the stopgap funding bill passed in the House.
The judge issuing an emergency order after federal agencies began laying off workers to reduce the size of the government during the shutdown. Layoff notices have been part of the Trump administration's efforts to put pressure on Democrats to come to a deal to end the shutdown. The judge saying the administration is acting without thinking it through and, quote, it's very much ready, fire, aim, end quote. And she added it has a human cost and cannot be tolerated. Labor unions had asked the court to block the layoffs, saying they were an abuse of power by the president designed to punish workers and to pressure Congress. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Judge Susan Ilston there in the Northern District of California. By the way, there's another way President Trump's pressuring Democrats. Trump threatening to use the government shutdown to cut what he calls Democrat programs. And he says he's going to provide a list of those programs on Friday. Supreme Court justices are weighing arguments they heard in a case today related to congressional maps in Louisiana. It could have major implications across the country. The case centers around congressional maps drawn in 2022 in Louisiana that created 2 Democratic majority districts We get more from ABC's Devin Dwyer.
There are a majority of justices that think Louisiana needs to go back to the drawing board, that second majority black district, by the way, both of those districts are occupied by Democrats, so there's some political ramifications there, but that they may need to go back and draw again because race was predominant in how they drew that map. How the court shakes out, what sorts of limits they put around Section 2, I think that's a little bit less clear.
That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crash at I-40 eastbound and Fessler's Lane, also on the South Loop going eastbound right there at the 2440 downtown split. Creve Hall, an overturned vehicle. TDOT says is blocking the left two lanes of 65 northbound at the Hogan Road overpass. Crash blocking the right lane 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, fresh off the, I'll say it, the worst nincompoops in the news in the history of the Matt Murphy Radio Show just happened on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It was pretty bad, and all we can do is suck it up. We can figure it out. Nobody won. The people lost. I mean, that's the general consensus, is that the nincompoops are us. The people were the big losers today, and all we can do is commit to you as a group. Look, this is not Ken Weaver's day job. He's delivering the real news. So Ken Weaver is automatically forgiven. I mean, he's a delight and a highlight on a day-to-day basis. I truly blame Jackson and Cameron.
That's fair. Except for the death you brought to the table. But other than
as
that,
the person who really drove it into the ground.
Should I tell everyone what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, you should.
So I had a story, and I have a source. You know my source, where many of my stories come from.
Fark.
Don't give away our sources. What are you doing over there? And I was ready to click on a story, and I clicked on the wrong story, and it was my turn. And it was the story beneath the story I wanted to go to, and it was the death story. And so I just kind of went with it. And I thought I thought there'd be a way to spin it.
Here's something funny.
And there wasn't. It was just a guy who stabbed his wife 25 times. That was my nincompoop today.
Yeah. This is the killer for a lot of the Florida man stories. Is I'm like,
oh, he killed somebody. And that's a big fail. That's a big fail on my part.
Well, I failed earlier this week, too, or last week.
No,
with
Ken,
that one.
Ken, you are a delight. You're a highlight of nincompoops in the news, and I don't think anyone's faulting you for today's failures. I think you gave it your best. You tried to save. You were the guy. The boat was sinking, and you gave yourself up to try to save the rest of us to no avail.
So we were all in a boat.
Don't let go, Ken. Don't let go.
What'd he say? I didn't have my headphones on.
He said, "Don't let go." We were all on a big boat, and then the boat sank.
Now Matt took an RPG to the boat,
and Ken was there. He was lying on like a piece of wood, and we were all hanging on the wood, floating, and it was really, really cold. And we were asking him, "Hey, Ken, can you scooch over and give us a little piece of that wood?" And instead of Ken telling the rest of us to go pound sand, he tried to let us up on the wood, and we all died.
We did.
And that is the end of Titanic.
Survivor.
Yeah. Jackson hadn't seen that movie.
I haven't.
How does it end? How does it end?
How does it end?
Boat sinks, Jackson. Spoiler alert. A lot of people dead. Spoiler.
Was there a mechanical failure that caused it? It didn't hit anything, did it?
And by the way, the end of that movie, that you know what, and I'd like to call her the name that I really want to call her. You know what? Why are you throwing that multi-gajillion-dollar diamond over that's not going to bring your beloved Jack back, you moron.
It's a symbol.
Symbol of losing a lot of money.
I mean, she's the real villain in that story, by the way.
I think that is fair, but she was also really old, so she's about to die anyway. Can't take it with you.
Blunk. I'd throw her overboard.
She probably hated her grandkids. It's really what it was about.
Well, I mean,
I'd have grabbed me a beer and listened to those three fellas playing the violin.
That's what Ken was doing during Nincompoops. He was just hanging out, watching us sink it.
Yeah, well, we sunk the boat. There's no question about that. Poor Ken, he's playing a nice little tune. It's been an honor playing with you gentlemen tonight. There's no real evidence of that happening, by the way, but whatever. I mean, I don't want to be Danny Downer, but no. There's like one report of some music on board, but I mean, really, there was just a lot of screaming.
Bringing more death to the show.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Just a ray of sunshine, Matt Murphy today. Matt played Nincompoops like Alabama defends the run.
That was a time in life,
did
though.
you see the Missouri game? We clearly defended the run.
Held that dude to like 20 yards, I think.
Right.
It was Missouri.
Refs won the game for us.
Yes, they did.
By the way, I don't know how the refs managed to help Georgia hold Auburn to 20 total yards in the second half of the game, but apparently the refs.
The Kirby Smart clap is great. It's not real loud. I'm clapping.
What?
Oh.
You can't hear it. It's the silent clap. Looks like a T.
Just telling you, that's how we clap in Georgia. Y'all just don't get it.
Comes from Warner Robins. Just where that originated.
Just don't understand it. While we're having a little fun, before we get to telephone calls, we want to. I'm not set up to do it. I'll do it later. We'll take telephone calls next because I want to talk about our movies. We finally watched our movies. I gave Jackson yet another classic.
Yeah.
And he gave me trash. Again.
It was not trash.
It was kind of trash.
What was it?
It's a good movie.
It was Scream 3. Oh.
Well, if you're at a garbage worker convention, you got a lot of that.
I think it would have been less trash had I actually watched. And in Jackson's defense, he asked me if I'd seen Scream. And I told him that I had.
Because I would have picked that one, because that's the best one.
And I don't think that I have, because I think I've just picked up on the basic concept of the movie, and that was it. Because I get into the movie and I'm like, no, I don't know what the hell's going on. I assumed that David Arquette was the police officer or whatever. I really didn't know what was going on in the film. Had no idea. But they were making a film about the film that I supposedly had already seen. And it was just a lot of trash. And then it was just a guy stabbing a lot of people in a funny mask. Meanwhile, I give Jackson a movie that won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Director at the Oscars. One of the best known and most lauded films in the last 40 years of cinema. That's what he gets to watch in the form of Silence of the Lambs. In the meantime, I mean, and I get Scream 3, Ken. I get Scream 3. He gets Silence of the Lambs, I get Scream 3. And the first thing Jackson said to me, what'd you say, Jackson? First thing he said to me.
I gave you another mid movie, and you gave me a absolute heater.
Just trying to do the best I can, man.
Clarice.
You know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes. Anyway, I used to do the
How
whole
many
scene.
times do you have to see a movie before you quote it?
Once.
Really? I can't quote a movie until I've seen it twice, 2 or 3 times.
Come on, you got something from Scream 3. I know it.
Hey, want to hear a scary story?
That was the big.
There you go, Brother Jackson.
I've seen Scream 3 like 100 times, Ken.
That was the big thing. That was the big thing in Scream 3, right? He had a voice box. He was
Do you
using.
like scary movies? Yeah, Scream 3 had a voice box he was imitating.
And so he was confusing people because they thought he was the.
It's a good film.
I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that there would be some boobies.
Scream doesn't have any.
I don't.
I've seen the whole series. Can confirm. Not a one.
We're old enough to have nostalgia for Skinamax.
I mean, have you seen any of the Screams?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, so if you watch it, it really, really feels like it's a movie where somebody's going to get naked and get in a shower.
And they do not.
And they do not. Ever.
You should make Jackson watch She's All That.
Is that with Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just
don't
remember
think I've
Is that
seen
from like
She's All
2000?
That. Yeah.
It's the girl on the soccer team,
you know
right?
what? Hey, Jackson, you ever seen Porky's?
Yes, I've seen that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Okay. Have you?
I don't know.
No.
Give you a night to remember. Jennifer's next. Probably doesn't want to be any part of this radio show at this point, and I don't blame her.
Sorry.
But Jennifer, apologies all around, Jennifer.
Oh, it's all good.
How are you?
I love your show.
Well, thank
I'll
you.
be a part of your shenanigans any day.
Well, I'm glad.
Shenanigans.
Thank you.
Yes. No, I actually was calling about Cameron's hermit crab, Jeff.
Yeah.
He may not be dead. You would know because, obviously, the smell.
Right.
He might be molting. And I know way too much about hermit crabs, more than we actually want to know, because our daughter, too, wanted them. And so we actually have 3, but they are 6 years old.
Yeah.
So they are high-maintenance animals, let me tell you.
Oh. What? Wait, hold on.
I know.
Jennifer, can I? They're high maintenance. They're called hermit crabs.
They want to be left alone.
I would never have believed it either. And then the further research we went, it was like, whoa, boy, I can't even believe what we got ourselves into. We even have what we call a crab attach. We're all in. We're going to keep it as long as we can. And actually, the longest living crab is still alive today. He's like in his 20s. He's in a retirement home with his owner. His name is Jonathan. You'll have to look it up. It's hysterical.
Jonathan. Okay.
Jonathan. And then Crab Central Station, I'm not trying to plug anybody, but they are on YouTube, and they have really good information for crab owners.
All I
Because a lot
know-
of people just think,
I looked at my counter, and there was hermit crab water. Like a bottle of water
for hermit
crabs.
But listen, you don't need all that.
Good.
They just need some salt water, and they actually breathe with gills, so they need water all the time. That's like their number one thing. I had no clue about this. So I hope Jeff will do well.
Me
I
too.
hope he's just molting.
Yeah, he
you
doesn't
only have
stink.
one, right?
Yeah, he doesn't stink. He just so that's good. He may not be dead, but he's
And
very
get rid
shy
of the
right
hermit
now.
crab. Yes, get rid of the hermit crab food. Give him real food, and he'll come out of his shell. Not literally, but he'll come out.
Like what?
And-
What's real food for a hermit crab?
Yeah.
Okay, they love apples or everything that we eat, vegetables, fruits.
We did
You just chuck it
blueberries
in
and
there.
apples, and we're
Yes.
hoping. Okay.
Yes. Oh, all kinds. Peppers. There's a whole list on a Hermit Crab Association. I'm telling you, I know way too much but I wanted to have these things thrive, right?
I may need to join an association for people that
I'm
care for
right.
these things. It's
I
a
know,
shell
just take my
spider as
number.
far as I'm concerned. I'm very
But they
interested to
do.
see.
Yeah, they love climbing. They love digging. So if you have like the coconut for them to dig in, the fiber,
Yeah.
they'll just love you for life.
And I want the love of a hermit crab.
Can we just go ahead and call it the AHCOA, the Association of Hermit Crab Owners of America?
Right?
Okay, so Jennifer, I looked it up. You ready? This is so good. Jonathan the hermit crab, also known as Jonathan Livingston Crab, was a famous pet hermit crab who lived with his owner Carol Ann Ormeez for blank years. I'm going to get you guys to guess. Before his death in February of 2021, he was widely recognized as one of the oldest pet hermit crabs and gained a notoriety for his long lifespan, which is uncommon for captive hermit crabs. All right. Jennifer, you don't get a guess, obviously. Any of you fellas want to throw out a wag? That would be a wild blank guess as to how old Jonathan was when he died.
56.
Old as hell.
24.
45 and a half.
I win.
What?
Ken Weaver, you win. We don't play Price's Right rules. Congratulations.
Yay!
There you go. 45 and a half.
Wow.
That's an old hermit crab.
Yeah, but
We're going for it.
the level of care necessary for these things. We have a bearded dragon, which is just like a rock lizard. Like you can throw this thing across the room and it'll skitter. It'll sit on it doesn't care. It doesn't need anything. It's the most wonderful pet in the world. Name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Wonderful.
But the hermit crab, Jeff, seems like he could be a little bit fussy.
And by the way, I'm not responding to any of the people on the super text line that is asking if Jennifer's admitting that she has crabs. Obviously, she's admitted that she's had crabs.
She does.
I did.
She
Three
did.
of them. 6 years old.
6 years old?
They're 6. Yes.
Oh, so this is like a lifelong commitment. It's like owning a parrot.
So
I'm going for Jonathan 45. Yes.
do your kids get to take them with them, or are you the eternal caretaker?
I'm pretty much the only caretaker, but now that we know what they thrive on, which is actually food, sardines, salmon, all the things, like that's what gets them out. Oh yeah, they'll eat whatever you're eating, and they will be very active. They're active at night.
If Jeff shows up at my dinner table to eat with us, I'm going to be concerned, but that's the type of thing that happens at my house.
I love it.
Well,
That's good. Just give them lots of water and lots of food, and throw away the hermit crab food. That is nothing but cake.
If I tell my boys that it's cake, then they may eat it.
Cake. Jennifer, I say this based on my performance today. If we're back tomorrow, call us again, please.
I will.
Call us again. Thank you for your call. I'm just ill enough where I'm sitting here watching a video of Jonathan the hermit crab. They put him on television when he was 41 years old.
Yeah.
And he looks very cute, and he's playing with this lady.
But what other form of entertainment brings you all this?
I mean, you're not getting this anywhere else, and there's a good reason for that.
We are going to be fired.
It's been somebody just wrote in and said, and I thought Chris Hand's jokes were the worst thing I would hear on this radio station today. Matt Murphy said, hold my beer. Damn right. We'll be back in a moment. Grace Point Healthcare is modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way, affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine. Let me talk to you about the basic Smart Care plan for a moment. Here's the thing. It's very simple. They keep their price point low, and you know exactly what you're paying at Grace Point Healthcare because you're paying them. Then you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement. But the bottom line is this: you're getting charged less money because there's no gamesmanship going on. Secondarily, the insurance company has nothing to do with your diagnosis, nothing to do with the solutions to your issue. That's between you and your doctor and always should be. And when you consider the basic Smart Care plan, $99 a month for grown-ups, $79 a month for the kids. And friends, this covers all visits to Grace Point Healthcare throughout the course of the year, plus basic labs and diagnostics. And you can pay for this with your HSA account now, thanks to the big, beautiful bill. That's what it's all about, folks. Grace Point treats the root cause of the issues going on in your life, and they treat you from newborns to seniors. Grace Point Healthcare, located in the heart of Franklin. Give them a call today at 599-6868, 599-6868. Schedule your appointment. They do same-day or next-day appointments most often. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
Rolls on the government shutdown. I'll tell you who gets paid and who doesn't coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'll be listening out for that. Ken Weaver. Thank you. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 27 after the hour. A lot of... I gave you the look. You saw the look, didn't you?
It wasn't gradual.
He knows what I like and what I don't like. And I don't know
that
what
was
he's
just
doing
to mess
in there.
with you.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing in there. Oh, that's good. Hurt the show to mess with me. That's
Actually, I lied. My finger just slipped.
Uh-huh. A lot of comments about our hermit crab talk. We have delved into a hermit crab discussion unlike any other hermit crab discussion on radio today.
The likes of which nobody's ever heard.
5131, I think, speaks for all of us when he says, Guys, I stopped at a business, got out of my truck, walked across a parking lot to another store. I bought a pack of cigarettes. I walked all the way back across this fair-sized parking lot, got back into my truck, and y'all are still talking about hermit crabs.
Yeah.
To which I said, I am so sorry.
Specifically, Jeff and Jonathan.
I am insanely sorry. Also, another commentator wants to know where hermit crabs buy blueberries in the wild, or where they get their blueberries in the wild. I think that might be an exotic fruit for a hermit crab.
All I know is that if you got a 6-year-old hermit crab that's eating salmon with you at dinner, wow, that is a lucky hermit crab.
That hermit crab is living the life.
Right. That is like the Jeff Bezos of hermit crabs.
I mean, what would a hermit crab's natural predator be? I mean, other crab,
they just live a sad life. They're just sort of scavengers that are like running from shell to shell, trying not to get eaten while they're out, and eating trash at the bottom of the ocean. Like, when we saw them, obviously on vacation, they just hang out at the bottom.
They're like the bums of the ocean.
Yes,
like they're
kind of like the Bama fans of the ocean.
Homeless.
Oh, geez, now you're forcing it,
of
Jackson.
the ocean.
Yes.
Just find any cardboard box they can find.
Yeah, they got to be scavenged. Listen, can you imagine any animal being caught and consumed by a hermit crab? They're slow. They're dragging shells on their butts, and it's just not a great life.
What if they can't find a shell? They're doomed.
They just die.
Yeah.
This is like, but imagine it's like us. Our clothes are getting a little tight. We just kind of upgrade. If their clothes get a little tight, they die.
Yeah.
Well, or they upgrade and then they just keep getting fatter.
Yeah.
Well, you're never too fat if you just keep buying new clothes.
You got to keep finding new shells, though. I mean.
And Joshua writes in and says, and I think Joshua speaks for probably 80% of the audience, even after saying you're sorry for talking about hermit crabs, you're still talking about hermit crabs.
Yeah.
I think I just like saying hermit crabs.
It's weird.
It is weird, yeah.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro Council member Courtney Johnson has suggestions for homeowners who just got their tax bills showing that massive increase.
What I would say is the anger and the angst that you feel when you open up that bill, I hope that you feel that in 2027 and vote accordingly.
Davidson County saw a flood of appeals after this year's reappraisal showed a 45% jump in median property values. Then Metro Council raised the tax rate, adding to the financial pressure. Fox 17 says 2/3 of 19,000 homeowners who appealed their new property values have been denied so far. Government shutdown continues into a third week. Tens of thousands of federal workers left wondering if and when they could see their next paycheck. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
The president has authorized extraordinary measures to pay the troops, and today said the FBI will get paid too.
We have the people that we want paid.
But workers like air traffic controllers charged with keeping passenger planes safe are out of luck.
Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Once again, gains in the tech sector lifted markets that were being weighed down by an escalating trade war and a prolonged government shutdown. The Dow dipped 17 points. The S&P gained 26. The Nasdaq grew 148 points. AI chipmaker Advanced Micro Devices jumped 9% in midday trading after two analysts raised their price targets on shares and a third upgraded AMD stock to outperform. ASML, a major supplier to the semiconductor industry, says it expects its revenue for 2025 to be 15% above last year's, while next year's should be at least as high as this year's. Several big banks also helped the market gain ground. Bank of America climbed 4% after delivering a stronger than expected profit. Morgan Stanley climbed nearly 5% for the same reason. J.M. Smucker is suing Trader Joe's, saying its new frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are too similar to Uncrustables.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. BNA got a crash right there at 40 eastbound after Briley Parkway East. Looking over here at Rutledge Hill, I see an injury crash. Hermitage Avenue at Lee Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
It can be hard to find someone you trust when it comes to large home repairs, including the heating of your home. I've been encouraging you over the last month or so to contact Jeff Eddy in Efficient Heating and Cooling and allow one of his qualified technicians or Jeff Eddy himself to come to your home to check out that heating unit. Now, I don't do this so that I don't do this for any other reason than this. That if you maintenance your unit on an annual basis, much like maintaining your car or, I don't know, going and getting your teeth cleaned, you can catch issues before they become big issues, and you extend the life of that heating unit, meaning that you're actually saving money, you're not spending money. It never is over $125 for a maintenance call at your residence, no matter how many units you might have. That means that that's a max cap. Oftentimes, it's much less than that. Jeff Eddy does not overcharge you. He doesn't believe in charging you overtime rates on the evenings or on the weekends. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they want to fix what ails your system, and that's that. Now, there will come a time when the life cycle runs out on your heating unit, and when that time comes, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help you find the right heater or AC for you and your family. Efficient Heating and Cooling. Contact Jeff Eddy if your heater's not ready. EfficientHVAC.net. That's EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show for another 30 minutes or so, or a little bit less. We'll get to your telephone calls momentarily. Believe it or not, there are folks that are waiting on hold. They're not there to talk about hermit crabs, at least to my knowledge. I do have a couple of pieces of audio and video that I want to share with you. One, and I'll get Cameron Smith's opinion on this as he sits in with us, as he's apt to do on these Wednesdays. This was from oral arguments earlier today at the United States Supreme Court. And I want you to listen to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Am I saying that right? Yeah, that's right.
Ketanji
Brown Jackson. They are debating voting rights and the Voting Rights Act and aspects of the Voting Rights Act. And the suggestion is that the South, which is mostly impacted by certain aspects of the Voting Rights Act, has repaired some of the sins of the past to the point that they don't need what they consider to be extreme federal oversight of their voting practices any longer. And the suggestion has been made, and I think it was Shelby versus Holder in Shelby County versus Holder in Alabama, where the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Shelby County that they should not be held to a different standard than any other state, because the Voting Rights Act held the South to a different standard than it did other states, and Shelby County's like, that's not right. And they won that argument. Well, now it's back before the United States Supreme Court. I just want you to listen as Ketanji Brown Jackson describes voting rights, particularly voting rights of minorities.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
Okay, so Ketanji Brown Jackson is comparing
race to disability.
Race to disability.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that comparison?
I would not have made that argument because I think the issue that she sees coming down the tracks is that the Voting Rights Act remedy for past discrimination is present discrimination.
Right.
It is that would be akin to her with her disability argument saying the remedy for past discrimination of this class is that we are presently going to discriminate against able-bodied people. And that's not really how the Americans with Disabilities Act works.
Well, and her suggestion is that there is some sort of systemic program or process in place that makes it more difficult for African-American people to vote than white people.
Which is not true.
Which is not true. So, I mean, because if I use her comparison, I understand there are plenty of buildings where if you were in a wheelchair, you could not gain access to that building. Right. And the Americans with Disabilities Act said, no, you can't do that anymore. You have to make sure that they can get in the same building that other people can get into. That's clear, right?
Right.
If you can walk, you can get into the building. If I can't get in the building. Where's the building that African-American people can't go vote in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is one of the defects of the Voting Rights Act, and one of the things that I think will ultimately end it, is that if you look even in a state like Tennessee, what you have to do to create a majority-minority district in a state like Tennessee is you have to you have to racially discriminate in one district to create a majority-minority district. I mean, that's what
you can't create people, so you have to subdivide people in a way that creates majority-minority districts.
Right. You are, by definition, your solution is racial discrimination.
Because if you do it over here, then obviously the rest of the people that you're leaving behind is a majority district.
Right. And so the representation of minority voters in one district, they take it away from that district, put it in another district, and so this district is less representational of the population than this one. And it is racial engineering to assure, literally, that in this case, in Tennessee, black voters can have a candidate of their choice in that one district.
And it's also and I hope that we're approaching a point where I can make an argument of how arrogantly presumptive it is for people like Ketanji Brown Jackson to argue that all black people are going to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
And by its very nature, you have to create these districts so as to assure them representation.
Well, and this is what people don't understand. Like, the reason that the districts were able to be gerrymandered around Nashville is because, even under the Voting Rights Act, there was not a single racial minority that had significant enough numbers that minority could create a single majority-minority district here, right? So this is racial engineering designed to combat racial engineering. Like that, it's truly a mind bender, but that's what we're doing with the law.
Instead of suggesting, because it has become such a holy grail, it's a sacred cow within the law. Instead of suggesting that maybe American society has grown beyond the need for the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah. And that is actually one of the arguments against it, is it is effective. Like, the civil rights era legislation actually created a more equal society.
It accomplished its goal.
Right.
And what's fascinating to me is, instead of congratulating ourselves collectively, recognizing that there are still pockets of racism and still pockets of discrimination, and obviously we need to deal with those as they pop up, instead of congratulating ourselves, that mission accomplished feeling, we double down and triple down because
Well, my deal with this has always been really simple. There is no problem, and it is perfectly constitutional to have a law that says you may not discriminate based on race when you're drawing maps, when you're saying at the polls. I would absolutely say, hey, you can't do that. But to go further than that and say, well, what we mean by this is you now have to create a majority-minority district under these threats. I mean, it gets really weird there. I'm not arguing that we shouldn't have laws that say, hey, if a county, for example, barred one race from the polls, they should absolutely be sued and prevented from doing that. But the idea that you must draw your maps this way proactively is a little more, that to me is racial engineering that I don't support.
2805 writes in and says, she's an actual black woman, so I think she would know.
Know what?
I guess she knows about discrimination more than you do because you're a white guy.
Well, she's really smart when it comes to the law, and she's making an argument. I mean, she has a perspective on this. She's saying, I want this law to stand. And so I have to sort of set up arguments now for when these challenges come, because it's pretty clearly racial discrimination as a solution to racial discrimination.
Well, but what she also argues is that being born African American is being born with a disability. And if you're arguing that, then it is either genetic in its nature or it's systemic or it's a part of the system that has been created. And if you're arguing that it's a part of the system, then destroy that which creates the disability within the system instead of creating other barriers within the system.
But I think she genuinely does, like many liberals, look at the laws and structures and processes of the United States as inherently racist. And if you do that, then...
But where are they inherently racist? I know I'm asking you that you don't agree with the position necessarily.
The argument, I don't, but the argument is that because of the original sin of slavery and racism in the United States, therefore the institutions and structures that were created during those times are irretrievably tainted in perpetuity.
But what structures, I mean, so what, they want to recreate structures that better reflect or resemble equity.
Yeah.
Right? And those structures would resemble socialism.
You have a very different government structure in mind. And so this is what the left has done, is saying, well, this is corrupt, racist, and wrong, so we have to throw away everything and start anew. And I just don't agree with that.
So, and 2805 confirms that when he writes in, maybe we need to rewrite the Constitution and update it. What do you think? Well, I would love for someone like 2805 to tell me which part. Which part do you want to rewrite and update that would, in your opinion, repair the issue that we're talking about?
But that's the wrong question. The issue is you can do that.
Of course you can.
You can amend the Constitution
right now.
If you want to do this, it is difficult.
No, but it's a circular logical argument because they say, sadly, there are enough people that are racist.
Right. We're trapped.
We're trapped because they won't do that.
Right. And so what you're basically saying is my judgment should be a super judgment over that of the rest of the country. And I disagree with that.
And then you have this young lady who wants to make sure that you know this.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
I love this jab. Listen.
I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah.
Worst politician ever.
Who says that? Who said that she was the most? I think it was Tim Walz.
It may have been
her running mate, who is also equally a boob.
It's really kind of hilarious for me that, she and the left, Gavin Newsom is doing this, are like adopting the language of Trump. Because Trump is very high on himself. I don't know if you've noticed this.
100%.
Total narcissist.
I'm the best. I'm the this is greatest. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it.
Right.
Who said?
Every day.
Right.
But the left, instead of they've gotten over criticizing it because it's been so normalized, and now they're like, we're doing it. We're gonna, and it just doesn't work. Like it actually, what's kind of
Gavin Newsom has not to interrupt you. But Gavin Newsom has actively tried to be more like Trump, and it comes off so fake.
Right.
It's so fake.
Right. Because Trump is authentically narcissistic about this stuff. Like, that's his jam. It's who he is. Trying to mock him looks fake. And so, like, that's where all this stuff.
And so you're further separating the guy.
Right.
One of the reasons we forgive him.
Right.
For so much of the things that he does and says is because he's authentically himself. And you being inauthentic further separates and further highlights his authenticity.
Which is what I actually think Republicans, once Trump's gone, are going to have a huge problem with, because they're not. J.D. Vance is not Donald Trump. He would love to be. He's not. Marco Rubio isn't. Like, the rest of field has got to then create their own brand. And if you've gone full sold mode into I'm a Trump clone, the voters don't like that. They never have.
52 after the hour. There's Cameron Smith. My name's Matt Murphy. I have no idea if we'll be back for a moment, but if we are, come on back with us. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you about my friends at the Glock Store this Saturday from 9 until 6. It's Vortex Day at the Glock Store. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially if you've never shot with a Vortex Red Dot Optic, or any Red Dot Optic for that matter. Vortex just introduced the enclosed versions of their Red Dot, along with the brand new multi-rectile aiming system, which is a fancy way of saying you shoot better. Just $10 plus a box of ammo gets you into the range for a personalized Red Dot Optic training session. They'll show you exactly what's going on and exactly how it works for you. Then you get to decide, and I feel like you're just going to have one, and you likely will. You can apply the cost of the ammo that you buy to your new Vortex Optic. So literally it's just $10 for the range session, and there you go. It's the incredible Vortex Day presented by the Glock Store. And, oh, by the way, Vortex is allowing Glock Store to break MAP pricing, that is manufactured actual retail pricing, and they're slashing their pricing to ensure they're the lowest in the country, period. It's only on Vortex Day and only at the Glock Store. The Glock Store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Find out more at GlockStore.com. That's GlockStore.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. Obviously, we don't want to scare you. We don't want to suggest that something negative is going to befall you in your workplace, in your school, in your church. But You watch the news like the rest of us, and you see that we're living in a dangerously developing world. Defense Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm based right here in Middle Tennessee. And if you're a decision maker in a place of business, in a church, in a school, any place people gather, they want to speak with you. Active shooter response training is available. Workplace violence prevention, site surveys and threat assessment, security improvement consultation, emergency and intruder action plans, and rapid response medical training, all customized to your facility and all available through Defense Systems. They'll sit down with you first and foremost and develop an action plan for you and your team. And that's where they get to work helping you develop a plan, because hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained with Defense Systems. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or online at defensesystems.com. All right, it's a 1-minute opportunity for Cameron Smith and Jackson Williams to face off. I feel like this is, unless I die tonight and you have to fill in for me tomorrow, might be the last opportunity for you and Jackson to talk a little smack to one another. Cameron, anything to say to Jay Willie?
No, there's no need to talk anymore. I think we got it covered.
Jackson, anything you would like to say to our good friend and colleague, Cameron Smith?
We'll let our pads do the talking. Go Big Orange.
Okay.
Well, that didn't nearly fill the minute like I hoped it would.
Well, we've already had hate week all week. There's only so much hate in my soul.
I guess so.
Half of my soul's taken up for Butch Jones' hate.
I feel like, based on the fact that this thing is happening at Bryant-Denny Stadium, that there's some quiet confidence in Alabama fans, and there's almost a quiet resignation amongst Vol Nation. That is Matt Murphy's analysis.
Not true.
Not true?
Confident.
Confident. Final score?
28-24 Tennessee.
38-17 Alabama. Go big or go home.
I predict pain. 7 o'clock. Thank you for being with us. We're back tomorrow. Until then, have a great evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.